Hi, everybody. We're still mid-ad, so I won't start anything until the ad is over, but it's certainly out there. It's certainly occurring. Okay, Spotify, shut the fuck up. No one cares. Snaz, no one cares. Okay. Hi! How are you? Shut the fuck up. Oh my god, I'm so excited! No, bring it back. Thank you. My god. There are so many chapters. Hopefully we'll finish this by the end of March. Cause Bully Saturday is coming up. Well, okay, that's not true. Normally we play so we've got one so we got today one so 5 5 Saturdays. Just finished. Oh, congrats. I haven't watched that. I'm not a show guy. So I don't watch shows. Not that I don't want to. I just don't. I'm pretty good. I had I have this really fuck ass class that I hate right now. It's sculpture. I call it shapes class because the first assignment was very shapes oriented, but I had to go in. So this week has been my spring break. I had to go in on Wednesday and I had to go in today to finish my stupid fucking assignment. It's done now, but I certainly had to sacrifice my spring break for it. Kind of fucked up. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it's over. And then I have tiles to paint. We actually have to finish the sculptures we just did. We had to make like jars or cups. I just did a set of 4 teacups. Um we have to glaze those certain way. We're glazing those. I don't give a fuck. So we have to paint our tiles, glaze our teacups, and then we have a final assignment, and then I'm done. Hopefully sculpting forever. I like sculpting at home on my own time, not with whatever fuck ass clay they're having me use. Have a big chunk of it in my bag. I stole a not insignificant amount of it. Um because she neglected to tell everybody where the scrap should go. So like if it gets too dry, they can like redo something with it to get it up and running again, I suppose. And she didn't tell everybody. She only told this one guy named Matt where to put all the dry scrap. Nobody else learned where it went. And Open Studio Time is self-run, so no teachers are there. It's not like there's somebody like watching over Open Studio Time. You're in there. Figure it the fuck out. And instead of figuring it the fuck out, I just stole. And there's not really any point in keeping the clay, so either I can take it back and be like, I didn't know what to do with this, so I just shoved it in my bag for a while, I guess, or I could just throw it away because it's clay. Who cares? Um, I kind of like the idea of throwing it away just because I hate the building where I'm taking the class. It's not the college that I'm going to. It's like a different institution, but the teacher works at the institution and then also works at the college that I go to. And so she like teaches this class at the institution she works at. I think because the college I could go to doesn't have like good sculpture supplies. Like there's not clay. We don't have like the infrastructure for it. So the other place does. So we do it all there and it fucking sucks. Anyway, ad is over. It's time to fucking read. What do you think? I've yapped long enough. Okay, can I hold on? For some reason, Chatterino doesn't sit on top anymore, which I would like it to. So let me fix that. Always on top. Okay. Okay. She was just not doing what she was told for a minute there. Oh my god! I forgot. Ryle. I made a joke about it being Thyle yesterday. I was a little closer than I thought. Maybe a few letters off. That's. Oh, wow, I love this book. Okay. Chapter 5. Ryle was correct. It only took a few days for my ankle to feel good enough that I could walk on it again. I waited a full week before. Hi. Hope you're good. How are you? Asked in the wrong order. My bad. How are you? We just started, so you're just in time. I waited a full week before attempting to leave my apartment, though. The last thing I need is to re injure it. Of course, the first place I went was to my floral shop. Alyssa was there when I arrived today, and to say I was shocked when I walked through the front doors is an understatement. It looked like a totally different building than the one I bought. There's still a ton of work that needs to be done, but she and Marshall had gotten rid of all the stuff we marked as trash. Everything else had been organized into piles. The windows had been washed, the floors had been mopped. She even had the area where I planned to put an office cleaned out. I'm pretty good. Happy to be reading. So excited. It helped her for a few hours today, but she wouldn't let me do much that required walking at first. So I mostly drew out plans for the store. We picked out paint colors and set a goal date to open the store that's approximately 54 days. You can't say approximately and then 54. That's too specific. Yeah, dude, I forgot about cringe. Luckily, I remembered. For just in time for approximately 54. Oh, and it's 54 cringes. Yes. Yes. Let's go. Numbers lining up. That's fucking crazy. Approximately 54 pisses me off so bad. It's what? Yeah, it was meant to be. It's destiny. It was a sign that this is exactly what I'm meant to be doing right now at this very moment is reading. Okay, anyway. That's approximately 54 days from now. After she left, I spent the next few hours doing all the stuff she wouldn't let me do while she was here. It felt good to be back, but Jesus Christ, I'm tired. Which is why I'm debating on whether or not to get up from the couch and answer the knock at my front door. Lucy is at Alex's again tonight, and I just spoke to my mother 5 minutes ago on the phone, so I know it isn't either of them. I walk to the door and check the peephole before opening it. I don't recognize him at first because his head is down, but when he looks up and to the right, and my heart freaks the hell out. Huh? I don't recognize him at first because his head is down, but then he looks up and to the right, and my heart freaks the hell out. No. You're terrible. You're going to fucking jail. You're going to prison. That was the worst sentence I've. My heart freaks the hell out at that sentence. That was disgusting. Oh, God. Don't say it again. Don't say it again. It's terrible. Yuck. Ugh. Oh, okay, anyway. What is he doing here? Ryle knocks again, and I try to brush my hair out of my face and smooth it down with my hands, but it's a lost cause. I worked my ass off today, and I look like shit, so unless I have half an hour to take a shower, put on makeup, and throw on clothes before I open the door, he'll pretty much have to deal with me as is. I open the door, and his immediate reaction confuses me. Jesus Christ, he says, dropping his head against my door frame. He's panting like he's been working out, and that's when I noticed that he doesn't look to be any more rested or clean than I am. He's got a couple of days worth of stubble on his face, something I've never seen on him before, and his hair isn't styled like it usually is. It's a little erratic, like the look in his eye. Do you have any idea how many doors I've knocked on to find you? Ugh. Chapter 5, I'm not sure. You are not too late. You have missed. Okay, you've missed one baby. Okay. You've missed two things. I will update you. I think we are on chapter 5. I think my app bookmarks it, so no need to remember. So don't put in the effort. But you've missed two things. One, the sentence approximately 54 days from now. Um, I hope it's not the line I'm thinking of. Probably not. I'm gonna be honest, probably not. But approximately 54 days from now, You can't be approximate when you are naming the exact amount of days. Please get a grip. Anyway, we cringed, and then it was the 54th cringe, which was really great. And then, my heart freaks the hell out was pretty bad. As you can see in chat, Grace did not like it either. So that got the 55th cringe. But otherwise, we're pretty much at the beginning of chapter 5, so you are so safe. Haven't missed much. Um, I shake my head because I don't. But now that he mentions it, how in the hell does he know where I live? You told him 8,000 years ago. Of course his freaky ass would remember. Approximately, girl. Yes. I would say that this is the case. 29, he says. Then he holds up his hands and repeats the numbers with his fingers while he whispers 29. That means we all get to experience the line together, if I'm thinking of the right book. Crossing fingers you are, because I'm so excited to hear what you're talking about. But if it's not in this book, you have to tell us what the line is. Because you're killing me. I'm so excited to read the line. I let my gaze drop down to his clothes. He's in scrubs, and I absolutely hate that he's in scrubs right now. Holy hell. So much better than the onesie and way better than the Burberry. Why did you knock on 29 doors? I ask with a tilt of my head. You never told me which apartment was yours, he says matter-of-factly. You said you lived in this building, but I couldn't remember if you even said which floor. And for the record, I almost started with the third floor. I would have been here an hour ago if I went with my gut instinct. Why are you here? Oh, the fact that he remembers where... Okay, wrong book, same author. Okay. Then maybe we can read that book next. So we can all experience the line together. If you tell us the book. He runs his hands down his face and then points over my shoulder. Can I come in? I glance over my shoulder and then open the door farther. I guess, if you tell me what you want. He walks inside and I close the door behind us. He glances around wearing his stupid hot scrubs and puts his hands on his hips as he faces me. He looks a little disappointed, but I'm not sure if it's in me or in himself. There's a really big naked truth coming, okay? He says. Brace yourself. Okay. Welcome in. Hello. Welcome to my home. I refuse to put... Not me. I am willing. You're great. Boo. Boo. Give us the book. If it starts with us, I'm gonna... It's ugly love. Okay. I'm writing it down right now. Sounds awful, by the way. Ugly love. Colleen Hoover. Very excited. Got to use my fuck ass pencil. Okay. Anyway. We'll keep that in mind for the future. Love reading. Okay. Anyway. I fold my arms over my chest and watch as he inhales a breath, preparing to speak. These next couple of months are the most important months in my career. I have to be focused. I'm closing in on the end of my residency, and then I'll have to sit for my exams. He's pacing my living room, talking frantically with his hands. But for the past week, I haven't been able to get you out of my head. I don't know why. At work, at home, all I can think about is how crazy it feels when I'm near you, and I need you to make it stop, Lily. He stops pacing and faces me. Please make it stop. Just once. That's all it'll take, I swear. Ew. If you want another, I can give you. Oh, yes. I'm ready to write it down right the fuck now. Drop the worst book you've ever read. I am waiting with bated fucking breath. I love terrible books and good books, but mostly terrible ones. But okay, I'm cringing cuz he's giving me the ick. Thank you. I will be so patient while you find it. Okay, my fingers are digging into the skin of my arms as I watch him. He's still panting a little, and his eyes are still frantic, but he's looking at me pleadingly. When is the last time you've had sleep? I ask him. He rolls his eyes like he's frustrated that I'm not getting it. I just got off a 48-hour shift, he says dismissively. Focus, Lily. On what? Having sex with you? Pass. Ugh. You. Ugh. The perfect. The perfect witness. Fine. Cat cringe. Oh no. Or is it chat cringe? I think it's chat cringe. There you go. Johansson. Cat cringe is very cute though. Okay. Yeah, you guys gotta catch up with your cringes. Okay, anyway. Ugh, he's so. Ugh. Okay, I will admit, I will be the first to admit I'm not immune to like romantic tropes that are like towing the line of like ethicalness, you know? Like sudden kisses. Oh, I love that shit. I still have the physical copy if you don't want to spend the money. I got mine for $1. Still ripped off. That's terrible. But worry not. I'll probably steal it anyway. So keep your copy. I want you to remember that it's the worst book you've ever read. And I want you to have that with you forever. It's very important. But anyway, the fact that he won, you can steal it and still lose something. Yes! Sounds like the perfect book for me, to be honest with you. Very excited. But anyway, this is too far. This is too much. I am a hopeless romantic. This is disgusting. I am immune to this. Some of the dorky shit that happened in Timeless Christmas, I was like, "Aw, so cute." Anyway, this, no. I have a line, and I'm drawing it in the sand, and it's this. I couldn't in good conscience give it to anyone. This is my curse to bear. It's a constant reminder of the time wasted reading that book. And that copy, you are protecting it from falling into anyone else's hands. If somebody else buys the same book, that is simply on them. But this copy is yours to ensure that no one else reads it. You're doing a terrible job, because I'm going to read it now. But that's okay. I'm excited. Okay, anyway. I'm one book ahead. Congrats. Not me. I'm actually right on schedule, which is unfortunate. But that's okay. I'm gonna fucking lock in next week. You better believe it. I have my shitty slop fun to read book, and then I'm gonna read something normal. I'm not reading slop. Well, I'm reading Harry Potter is pretty sloppy. I'm not gonna lie to you. So unfortunately you are reading slop, but that's okay. I feel like you're fucking allowed to read slop considering, your classes are literally only reading. And you're reading like actual real books that require you to fucking think. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's okay for spring break to read a little slop. There's no shame in this. Yeah. Me too. I'm also happy I'm locking in. I'm really excited. My room will be so fucking clean tomorrow. You would not believe how clean it's gonna be. I need to I'm 9 behind, but I haven't logged through them. Well, that's nice. I'm glad you're not as behind as you thought. Yeah, it's been like a rough beginning of the year for me, so I haven't read as much as I'd like to, but I'm locking in. So I'm gonna get done with 2 books this month. Fuck you. Because technically I only read like half a book for January because I was in the middle of it during my first, during the year before, during 2024. So I finished it in January. It was a hard read for me. I don't know why. It was very informational and not in like a fun, cool way. I mean, like, it was informational and I like the information. I love learning. It's great. Happy to have read it. but the writing was just a little bland. There wasn't any like fun stuff happening with the writing. It didn't grip me very well, so it was difficult for me to read. I'm halfway through three other ones, so I'm almost. Jesus. I can barely read one book at a time. I'm tentative about reading two books at a time, but I think since one will be fiction and then the other one will be nonfiction, there won't be any confusion happening. So, check out seven books. The library said this will really help. Yeah, my God. Slow down. Oh, God. You would love the library I work at because we have so many free books. And people come in and they're like, "How many can I take?" And if it's me answering, I'm like, "However many you can carry. I don't give a fuck." There's actually one book, The Long Island Compromise or something. It's a newer book and I've seen like a couple like reviews for it and it's like like plastered all over like Barnes and Noble and stuff. That one has stayed on the free book cart for like a weirdly long time. I don't know why nobody wants it because I swear to God I've seen it everywhere. But whatever. None of my business. Okay, anyway, I'm logging in. Da-da-da-da-da. I nod and replay his words in my head. If I didn't know better, I'd almost think he was. I inhale a calling breath. Ryle, I say carefully. Did you seriously just knock on 29 doors so you could tell me that the thought of me is making your life hell and so I should have sex with you that you'll never have to think of me again? Are you kidding me right now? He folds his lips together, and after about 5 seconds of thought, he slowly nods his head. Well, yeah, but it sounds way worse when you say it. I release an exasperated laugh. That's because it's ridiculous, Ryle. He bites his bottom lip and looks around the room, like he suddenly wants to escape. I open the door and motion for him to walk out. He doesn't. His eyes fall to my foot. Your ankle looks good, he says. How does it feel? Because it's pretty bad. How does it feel? I roll my eyes. Better. I was able to help Alyssa at the store for the first time today. He nods and then makes like he's walking toward the door to leave, but as soon as he reaches me, he spins toward me and slaps his palm against the door on either side of my head. Absolutely not. Kill this man immediately. You're disgusting. You're awful. You need to be killed. You need to be slaughtered. Death penalty. By shooting squad. Electric chair. I don't care. He has to go. That's enough. One's a memoir audiobook, and another one's a murder mystery audiobook that I'm actually like 1.5 hours from finishing, and then the other one is 97 pages that I should have finished ages ago. Happens to the best of us. Dude, I've. Dead! Exactly. That is what he should be. He should be in the ninth circle. He's awful. Yuck. Okay, anyway. I've been in the middle of like a shit, like, for some reason, I'm finding fiction harder to finish than nonfiction for some reason. Cause like I used to blast through nonfiction with, I'm sorry, I used to blast through fiction when I was a kid without any trouble. But, anyway, no, let's focus on whatever terrible, awful. I can focus on it if you want. If you insist. I'm just irresponsible all the time. And that is well within your right. Sounds like you're ahead of the game anyway. Apparently, if you read one book in 1 month, you're already ahead of like a lot of the population. So, like, if you look at it from that perspective, you're doing great. Anyway, no. I gasp at both his proximity and his persistence. Please, he says. I shake my head, even though my body is starting to trade sides and beg my mind to cave to him. I'm really good at it, Lily, he says with a grin. You think I care? No, I don't. You'll barely even have to do any work. I try not to laugh, but his determination is as endearing as it. No. No, it's not. It's actually terrible. Let's go! Huh? I don't. He's a doofus, man. This is the worst. Okay, you'll barely have to do any work. I try not to laugh, but his determination is as endearing as it is annoying. Good night, Ryle. His head drops between his shoulders and he shakes it back and forth. He pushes off the door and stands upright. He half turns, heading for the hallway, but then suddenly drops to his knees in front of me. He wraps his arms around my waist. What are we reading? Nothing good. I'm gonna tell you that right goddamn now. We're reading It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I think one of the worst books I've ever seen in my life. Currently, Ryle, the main man character, is begging Lily to have sex with him. Straight up, literally just got on his knees. Yes, Colleen Hoover. And it's just as bad as I ever could have imagined. It's, oh my god, so good. Happy to be here. Okay, anyway. He wraps his arms around my waist. Please, Lily, he says through self-deprecating laughter. Please, have sex with me. Oh my god. I'm going for it again. I'm calling 911. And you would be right to do so. Okay. He's looking up at me with puppy dog eyes and a pathetic, hopeful grin. I want you so, so bad, and I swear, once you have sex with me, you'll never hear from me again. I promise. Break time! I'm also taking a shower right now. So true. Wait, is he really? He is really. You'll never see me. You'll never, ever, ever. You promise we'll never see you again? Okay. I haven't done a break in a while. What are the requirements for that? It's like 5 minutes of not doing anything, isn't it? Shut the fuck up. What the hell? You have to log in. What do you mean? This is my account. What are you talking about? Whatever. I think it's 5 minutes. Which is really funny, all things considered. I could give you so many breaks. Please don't. I've been waiting for this all week. We're only on chapter 5, and I think this is hands down the worst book I've ever read. Oh, well, thank you for asking, Kat. Okay, I have my 5-minute timer on, so we'll talk about our days during the 5 minutes. My day's good. I think I yapped for a minute about my, stupid gay little son. 54! Just like the amount of days before she opens her fuck-ass flower shop. So many 54s. A squirrel in the park rejected my phone. Oh no! I'm sorry. Terrible day then. What's the point? You just get up and try again tomorrow. 54. I was supposed to be home. Oh no. Do I even want to know what that's gonna say? That's a good cup of joe. There's still some ice in it. Wow, 5 minutes is a very long time. Try to break in your ear. I've listened the album of, well, technically last week was supposed to be Dochi's album, Alligator Bites Never Heal, but I kind of stopped listening to it halfway through the week. And then again, these past couple months have been spectacularly rough, so music has kind of taken a step back a little bit for me, which is crazy because I like that's one of my things, is weekly album. I've been doing it for 2 years now. This is my 3rd year. I have to fucking log in. And I'm gonna be honest, it hasn't even been these past couple of months. It's been like how many? August, September, October, November, December, January, February. 7 months. I've been having a rough one for 7 fucking months. So, and music has taken a back burner for almost all 7 of those months. Like, I've kind of like come back a little bit every so often, but like December, I never really listened to anything because it's Christmas. And then November, I don't think I listened to anything because it was like, I was trying to figure things out with that guy or whatever. And so like, I was, it's fine. Anywho, oh wait, it's okay. When I was grabbing the bread, it held my hand for a second. Oh, so true. Anywho, I was supposed to be home and showered and packed to visit my boyfriend tomorrow. after work, my coworker was like, "Hey, another coworker's having a family emergency. Can you stay until she gets here?" And and I knew in that moment I was staying until 11 p.m. That's terrible. I'm sorry. I don't know. Oh, that one is a good one. I'm glad they added that hug emoji. It's a good hug emoji. The other one that they had was like a little face and then like hands. I don't like that hug emoji. This one is much better. But anyway, thank you. Um, but album blah blah blah. I my paycheck is gonna wild in a positive way. I hope so. I fucking hope so. Ooh, speaking of paychecks, thanks to the minimum wage, positive. Yes, happy for you. Um, thanks to the this is gonna sound really. That's fine. Thanks to the minimum wage going up, I am now paid 48 cents more than I was before because my gonna turn it into unplayed Steam games. So true. I've never heard anything more real in my goddamn life. But anyway, the minimum wage in Michigan went up to 12.48. So now I'm paid 12.48. Love it. So true. I wish they turned it into a pretty number. 12.50. Come, you want to pay me a pretty number so bad. But no. 12.48. Fuck you. Whatever. It's fine. I'm not upset. You're upset. But I worked at the Pez factory last summer. Was it okay? I heard Pez and was like, "Oh, candy," you know. But I'm sure it wasn't that fun because then I read factory and I was like, "Ooh," because factories are not fun. They're insanely boring. If they let you listen to music, I'm sure it's fine. But like, bleh. I had to wear when I worked at a factory. I had to wear earplugs, and they yelled at you if you talk to each other. My 5 minute timer has gone off, so I am allowed to read. But if you weren't wearing your goggles, they were like protective glasses. So they weren't like regular glasses. They still fit up against your face, but it wasn't like goggles. You know what I'm saying? You had to wear those, and then you had to wear earplugs also. And if you were talking to like a manager or something, you could pop one out so you could hear them. But that was about the only instance in which you were allowed to have them out. And you weren't allowed to talk to people. Well, they have like a small museum and a gift shop attached to that, so so it's not actually making it okay. Way less fun then. Making the Pez sounds kind of fun. That's how they unionize. So true. Very true. I but man, the like culture in the factory was pretty I don't want to say like bad, but we definitely didn't care for each other very much. You know what I mean? Like there was like a lot of drama. Unhealthy. That was probably the best way to put it. One guy, oh man. This one guy came up to me one time. I was moved, so my plant was like a pretty low stress plant. You didn't have a whole lot going on. And so when we had people, when somebody else had machines, like a different plant had a machine that needed to get run, they would have some of us in plant 3, I think we were, move to other plants. And so was I moved around sometimes. So I moved to plant 4 one time. I'd never been to plant 4 until that day. And you rotate for some reason, like you don't work the same machine the whole 8 hours, like you rotate through. So it's like 2 hours on one machine, then they're like 2 hours, and then you move. And then in between like lunch and shit. Oh, it was like cuz every like 2 hours or so you got a break. So it was like it was like a 10-minute break and then 20-minute lunch and then another 10-minute break later on. Virtually useless amount of time, to be honest. Like, really stupid. But anyway, so I was in plant 4 and I was working on my second machine of the day, I think, and this guy, forklift certified, came up to me and was like, I think he thought I was like attractive or something, but I had never really I never had that happen to me before. Like, nobody's ever come up to me and like flirted or like asked me out or something like that. But he was like asking me a little bit about me. I'd never seen him before. And he was like, I was really socially awkward, so I think I shut him down pretty hard on accident. But just because I didn't understand what was happening until I thought about it like way later down the line. But anyway, he was like, do you smoke weed? And I was like, no. And he was like, oh. And then he kind of walked away. It was funny, but yeah. There was another guy who was like, "Don't ask me why I'm in anger management." I was like, "Okay, Nathan, I won't." Cuz I didn't give a shit. I was trying to do my job and he was yapping way too much. I didn't want to get in trouble. Luckily, the person kind of watching over the sorting area of plant 3 kind of understood that Nathan was kind of a yapper and like I got off scot-free or whatever. um oh fuck, back to work. No, I'm sorry, we've gotten literally no reading done. That's okay. Good luck with work. I believe in you. I hope it goes okay. Can't believe you're not home. That's literally hell on earth. Very sorry to hear. um But Nathan was like, "Don't ask me why I'm taking anger management." I was like, "Okay, Nathan, I won't ask." No reading is good. That's what the break is for. True, the break has been over for so long. I'm the worst. But anyway, I love to talk. It's my favorite. But anyway, so the guy was like, "Don't ask me why I'm in anger management." And I was like, "Okay, I won't." And then he was like, "I'm in anger management because," which is so funny. I've never had anybody do that for before with me. And because it feels like a very like sitcom thing to do. He working at the factory was like was like being in a fucking sitcom. It's so funny. Oh my god. Ha! I'm free. But yeah, it turns out he pulled a gun on somebody, and that was why he was in anger management. I was like, "Oh, okay, I won't get on your bad side then, Nathan." And then he was like, "Are you a lesbian?" Because I had like a short haircut at the time, um, because I was like trying to like lean into like a more masculine appearance. I have I no longer give a shit about that. And actually, I hate having short hair. It's disgusting and awful. I have moved on. But he was like, "Are you a lesbian?" I was like, it's not really any of your business." And he was like, "But you are one?" And I was like, "Yeah, I guess so." I didn't know what to say to this guy. He was like, "Well, I have a girl." He like tried to set me up with a really freak ass girl he knew, and was like, he was an interesting critter. It was funny. I only ever talked to him like 3 times. Like we sat next to each other in sort, and then we sat next to each other in whatever the fuck the other thing was. I only did 2 things. There was like 3 sections of the plant. It was like weird, scary section up front that actually used machines, and then it was you kind of put things together like Legos a little bit. Like you had like the same like two, three, four pieces and you put them together into one bigger piece. And then those pieces would sometimes be used to be put into a bigger piece after they were sorted or whatever. But anyway, I talked to him once in sort and then once in like the put together area. And so he was like, "Yeah, there's this one girl that I know who's bisexual, and she tried to assault me in my sleep. You should get with her." I was like, "What? Why why would I do that? What what Thank you. Thank you for the really nice opportunity for a really cool partner that I would hopefully love and cherish for a very long time. Thank you so much for suggesting that I get with the girl who is." I was just a Yeah, pretty much. He was so funny. I wouldn't trade my interactions with him for the world. Sometimes I miss the factory. It was boring as sin there, but so much cool shit happened that I could go home and talk about. I'm just being honest. Like, that was. Okay, anyway, I'm focusing. I'm gonna read so hard. We, at this rate, we're not gonna get done before April 12th, the closest Saturday to Grace's birthday. I just checked. Okay. Alright. Please have sex with me. Okay. Anyway, I'm so far in. Don't be mean. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to you. Bully Saturday for you. Hopefully I can find a cool mod that isn't hell on earth like the hard mode was. Oh my god. I want like something stupid. I can't think of anything stupid. Like the water in the veil turns to like lava or something. Like, something stupid. It doesn't have to be a mod that affects the whole game. Just something dumb. Like all the teachers turn into like robots or something. Like, I don't give a fuck. Any mod will do. But anyway, just to keep it fresh. Okay. He's looking up at me with puppy dog eyes and a pathetic hopeful grin. I want you so, so bad, and I swear, once you have sex with me, you'll never hear from me again. I promise. There's something about a neurosurgeon literally on his knees begging for sex that does me in. That's pretty pathetic. Get up, I say, pushing his arms away from me. You're embarrassing yourself. He slowly stands up, dragging his hands up the door on either side of me until he has me caged between his arms. Is that a yes? No. Actually, it is not. It's a get the fuck out of here. Ugh. His chest is barely touching mine, and I hate how good it feels to be wanted this much. I should be turned off by it. But I can barely breathe when I look at him, especially when he has this suggestive smile on his face. I don't feel sexy right now, Ryle. I worked all day. I'm exhausted. I smell like sweat and probably taste like dust. If you give me a little while to shower first, I might feel sexy enough to have sex with you. He's nodding feverishly before I'm even finished speaking. Shower. Take all the time you need. I'll wait. Ew, 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 ew. That's disgusting. I can't believe you agreed. Kind of. I push him away from me and close the front door. He follows me to the bedroom and I tell him to wait on the bed for me. Luckily, I cleaned my bedroom last night. Normally, I have clothes lying around everywhere. Slay. I love a messy woman. They're funny to me. So realistic. Books piled up on my nightstand, shoes and bras that don't quite make it to my closet, but tonight it's clean. My bed is even made up, complete with the ugly quilted throw pillows my grandmother passed down to every person in our family. I ta- make I make a quick glance. Foul things happening, truly foul, and it will not get any better, I'm sure. I make a quick glance around the room just to make sure nothing embarrassing will catch his eye. He takes a seat on my. Shut the fuck up. For now, love you, girl. I got a text from my friend. He takes a seat on my bed and I watch as he scans the room. I stand in the doorway to my bathroom and try to give him one last out. You say this will make it stop, but I'm warning you right now, Ryle. I'm like a drug. Yes, girl, be confident. Unfortunately, that's cringe. If you have sex with me tonight, it's only going to make things worse for you, but once is all you're getting. I refuse to become one of the many girls you used to, how did you word it that night? Satisfy your needs? He leans back on his elbows. You aren't that kind of girl, Lily, and I'm not the kind of guy who needs someone more than once. We have nothing to worry about. His ass is lying. The book. Don't be confident that was actually all. I if the circumstances were different, I'd be like, yes, girl, you are a drug. Slay. Beat his ass. Unfortunately, she's agreeing to be a drug for the worst man alive. How do you remember the building I live in like 6 months down the line? You're crazy. You knocked on 29 doors to have sex with me once. You need to be knocking on okay, here's the difference, right? I would be, "Aw, he knocked on 29 doors for me." If it was romantic. If he was like, "Marry me, Lily. I knocked on 29 doors." I'd be like, I'd cheer, right? That's the kind of guy I am. I like romance. Unfortunately, he's being icky. He's like, I remembered where you live from when you told me a very long time ago and knocked on 29 doors. Typical horny. Exactly. And being horny in like a I love you so much. Let's fuck right now. I'm like, yes. Honestly, realistic. Ugh. Ugh. I there's I'm discovering recently that one night stands are not for me. I'm like, ugh. What about love? What are you doing? That's how this feels to me. Anyway, okay. I closed the door behind me, wondering how in the hell this guy talked me into this. It's the scrubs. This, you're terrible. Die. The scrubs are my weakness. It has nothing to do with him. I wonder if there's any way he could leave them on during the sex. Yes. Say the. She sounds like a virgin. Is she? No way. Does anybody remember the first 4 chapters? Oh wait, no, she's not. Okay, she's not. Cause she I think she lost her virginity to that one homeless guy. Do you guys remember the homeless guy? Do you guys remember the Ellen Diaries? Oh my god, this is the best book ever. Everything's coming back. I totally forgot about the first 4 chapters until just now. One night stands are fun until until in the middle of it the other person asks you, is it? That would be terrible. Oh my god. Wait, you can't ask me that right now. We were having fun for a second. What are you doing? Oh god, that's scary. But yes, the Ellen Diaries. God damn, that's so funny. Okay. I'm refocusing. I have never taken more than an hour to get ready, but it's almost an hour before I'm finished in the bathroom. I shaved more parts of me than was probably necessary, and then spent a good 20 minutes having a freak out, and had to talk myself out of opening the door and telling him to leave. Which is well within your right. I also predicted she would marry the homeless guy. I have a feeling she's gonna get with this fucking freak of nature, which is terrible. I miss the homeless guy. I can't believe his name was Atlas. Also, like, there is no shortage of poorly named men in this book. Atlas is better than Ryle, but Atlas still sounds fantastical. Atlas is a dog name or like a fantasy man name. What are we doing? Atlas in when is this book set? It's like 2018, I think. So like, who the fuck is naming their kid Atlas? If he was, oh no, and he was like older than her. Okay, so many things coming back to me. It's been so long. Anyway, da da da. But now that my hair is dry and I'm cleaner than I've ever been, I think I might be able to do this. I can totally have a one night stand. I'm 23 years old. I open the door and he's still there on my bed. I'm a little disappointed to see that his scrub top is on the floor, but I don't see his pants, so he must still be wearing them. He's under the covers though, so I can't tell. I close the door behind me and wait for him to roll over and look at me, but he doesn't. I take a few steps closer and that's when I notice he's snoring. Not a light, oh, I just fell asleep snore. It's a middle of REM sleep kind of snore. Ryle, I whisper. He doesn't even budge when I shake him. You've got to be kidding me. I drop down onto the bed, not even caring if I wake him. I just spent an entire hour getting ready for him after busting my ass today, and this is how he treats this night? I can't be mad at him, though, especially seeing how peaceful he looks. I can't imagine working a 48-hour shift. Plus, my bed is really comfortable. That's such a funny flex. It's so comfortable, it could make a person fall right back to sleep after a full night of rest. I should have warned him about that. That's such a funny thing to have to warn someone for. Like, I just like, true. But I'm kind of glad she got out of it because she obviously didn't really want to do it in the first place. She was coerced here. And he, thankfully, his body gave her a way out. Thank you, 48-hour shift. That's the one goddamn time I'd ever thank God for a 48-hour shift for anybody. I'm Mr. Labor Rights, okay? I love that shit. I'm like, a union? I'll suck you off right now, because I love unions. A 48-hour shift? Good right now. And no other moment. Okay, anyway, I check the time on my phone and it's almost 10:30 p.m. I put the phone on silent and lie down next to him. His phone is on the pillow next to his head, so I grab it and swipe up the camera option. I hold his phone above us and make sure my cleavage looks good and pushed together. Who is she a fanfiction writer first? author second, published author second, because like that is such a like Wattpad fan fiction ass line. I love this book. Okay. Anyway, I snap a picture so he'll see what he missed out on. I turn off the light and laugh to myself because I'm falling asleep next to a half naked man that I've never even kissed. I can feel his fingers trailing up my arm before I even open my eyes. Boonk! Get the fuck out of here. You missed your chance. Don't be an ass. Do not even touch me. What right have you? I'm not I'm not awake yet, you little freak. I'm disgusted. I force back a tired smile and pretend I'm still sleeping. His fingers trail over my shoulder and stop on my collarbone just before they reach my neck. Ugh. I have a small tattoo there that I got in college. It's the simple outline of a heart that's slightly open at the top. I can feel his fingers circle around the tattoo. Ugh. And then he leans forward and presses his lips against it. Ugh. Get off of me, bro. I squeeze my eyes shut even tighter. Lily, he whispers, wrapping an arm around my waist. I moan a little, trying to wake up, and then roll onto my back so that I can look up at him. When I open my eyes, he's staring down at me. I can tell by the way the sunlight shines through my windows and across his face that it's not even 7 a.m. yet. I am the most I'm the most despicable man you've ever met. Am I right? I laugh and nod a little. Pretty damn close. He smiles and then brushes my hair off of my face. He leans forward and presses his lips to my forehead, and I hate that he just did that. Now I'll be the one plagued with sleepless nights because I want to put this memory on repeat. I have to go, he says. I'm really late, but 1, I'm sorry. 2, I'll never do this again. This is the last you'll hear from me, I promise. And 3, I'm really sorry. You have no idea. He had better have been just completely sloshed out of his goddamn mind. That is the only way this is acceptable. I'm going to be really honest with you. Okay. I force his. Oh, oops. Come back. Thank you. No, 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 no. Okay. I force a smile, but I want to frown because I absolutely hated his number 2. I actually don't mind if he tries this again, but then I remind myself that we want 2 different things from life, and it's good that he fell asleep and we never even kissed, because if I would have had sex with him while he was wearing scrubs, I would have been the one showing up at his door on my knees begging for more. This is good. Rip the band-aid off and let him leave. Have a nice life, Ryle. I wish you all the success in the world. He doesn't respond to my goodbye. He silently stares down at me with somewhat of a frown, and then says, Yeah, you too, Lily. Then he rolls away from me and stands up. I can't even look at him right now, so I roll onto my side so that my back is to him. I listen as he puts his shoes on and then reaches for his phone. There's a long pause before he moves again, and I know it's because he was staring at me. Ugh. Yuck. I squeeze my eyes shut until I hear the slam of the front door. My face immediately grows warm, and I refuse to allow myself to mope. I force myself off the bed. I have work to do. I can't be upset that I'm not enough to make a guy want to remap all of his life goals. Besides, I have my own life goals to worry about now, and I'm really excited about them. So much so that I really don't have time for a guy in my life anyway. No time. Nope. Busy girl here. I'm a brave and bold businesswoman with 0 fucks to give for men in scrubs. So true, girl. Say that shit. Chapter 6. It's been 53 days since Ryle walked out of my apartment that morning, which means it's been 53 days since I've heard from him. But that's okay, because for the last 53 days, I've been too busy to really give him much thought as I prepared for this moment. Ready? Alyssa says. I nod, and she flips the sign to open, and we both hug and squeal like little kids. We rush around the corner and wait for our first customer. It's a soft opening, so I haven't really done a marketing push yet, but we just want to make sure there aren't any kinks before a grand opening. It's really pretty in here, Alyssa says, admiring our hard work. I look around us, bursting with pride. Of course I want to succeed, but at this point I'm not sure if that matters. I had a dream and I busted my ass to make it come true. Whatever happens after today is just icing on the cake. It smells so good in here, I say. I love this smell. I don't know if we'll get any customers today, but we're both acting like this is the best thing that's ever happened to us, so I don't think that matters. Besides, Marshall will come in at some point today, and my mother will come in after she gets off work. That's 2 customers for sure. That's plenty. Alyssa squeezes my arm when the front door begins to open. I suddenly grow a little panicked, because what if something goes wrong? And then I do panic, because something just went wrong. Terribly wrong. My very first customer is none other than Ryle Kincaid. Ew. What does he need flowers for? Get out of here. He stops when the door closes behind him and he looks around in awe. What? He says, turning in a circle. How in the? He looks over at me and Alyssa. This is incredible. It doesn't even look like the same building. Okay, maybe I'm fine with him being the first customer. It takes him a few minutes to actually make it to the counter because he can't stop touching things and looking at things. Things twice in one sentence? You're going to jail. Don't think I didn't notice. I did, and it was terrible. When he finally does reach us, Alyssa runs around the corner and hugs him. Isn't it beautiful, she says. She waves her hand in my direction. It was all her idea. All of it. I just helped with the dirty work. Raya laughs. I find it hard to believe that your Pinterest skills didn't play a little part. I nod. She's being modest. Her skills were half of what brought this vision to life. Raya smiles at me, and it might as well have been a knife to the chest, because ouch. Classic Wattpad shit. He slaps his hands on the counter and says, Am I the first official customer? Alyssa hands him one of our flyers. You have to actually buy something to be considered a customer. Ryle glances over the flyer and then sets it back down on the counter. He walks to one of the displays and grabs a vase full of purple lilies. Don't be annoying, man. I want these, he says, setting them on the counter. I smile, wondering if he realized he just picked lilies. Bro, I know how to read. I know your name is Lily. Get a fucking grip. You don't have to reiterate. I realized it before you said it. You don't have to say it again. Thank you. Kind of ironic. Do you want us to deliver them somewhere? Alyssa says. You guys deliver? Alyssa and I don't. I reply. We have a delivery driver on standby. We weren't sure if we'd actually need him today. Are you actually buying these for a girl? Alyssa says. She's just prying into her brother's love life like a sister would naturally do, but I catch myself stepping closer to her so I can hear his answer better. I am, he says. His eyes meet mine and he adds, I don't think about her very much, though. Hardly ever. Alyssa grabs a card and slides it to him. Poor girl, she says. You are such a dick. She taps her finger on the card. Write your message to her on the front and the address you want them delivered to on the back. I watch him as he bends over the card and writes on both sides. I know I don't have a right, but I'm brimming with jealousy. Are you bringing this girl to my birthday party Friday? Alyssa asks him. I watch his reaction closely. He just shakes his head, and without looking up, he says, No. Are you going, Lily? I can't tell by his voice if he's hoping I'll be there or hoping I won't. Considering the stress I seem to cause him, I'm guessing it's the latter. I haven't decided yet. She'll be there, Alyssa says, answering for me. She looks at me and narrows her eyes. You're coming to my party whether you like it or not. If you don't show up, I'll quit. When Ryle is finished writing, he tucks the card into the envelope attached to the flowers. Alyssa rings up his total and he pays in cash. He looks at me while he's counting out his money. Lily, do you know that it's custom for a new business to frame the first dollar they make? I nod. Of course I know that. He knows I know that. He's just rubbing it in my face that his dollar will be the one framed on my wall for the life of the store. I almost encourage Alyssa to give him a refund, but this is business. I have to leave my wounded pride out of it. Oh damn, am I already almost done with the chapter? Speed of light. Once he has his receipt in hand, he taps his fist on the counter to get my attention. He dips his head a little, and with a genuine smile, he says, Congratulations, Lily. He turns and walks out of the store. As soon as the door closes behind him, Alyssa is grabbing for the envelope. Who the hell is he sending flowers to? She says as she pulls the card out. Ryle doesn't send flowers. She reads the front of the card out loud. Make it stop. Holy shit. She stares at it for a moment, repeating the phrase. Make it stop? What in the hell does that even mean? She asks. I can't take another step. Second, I grab the card from her and flip it over. She leans over and reads the back of it with me. He is such an idiot, she says with a laugh. He wrote the address to our floral shop on the back. She takes the card out of my hands. Wow. Ryle just bought me flowers. Not just any flower. He bought me a bouquet of lilies. Alyssa picks up her phone. I'll text him and tell him he screwed up. She shoots him a text and then laughs as she stares at the flowers. How can a neurosurgeon be such an idiot? Dude, Alyssa, my beautiful favorite character, my wonderful queen. You can't write an address on accident. That's too many letters and numbers for that to be accidental. So please think for 2 fucking seconds. He meant to do that. Okay, have a good day, Queen. I can't stop grinning. I'm relieved she's staring at the flowers and not at me, or she may put two and two together. I'll keep them in my office until we figure out where he intended for them to go. I scoop up the vase and whisk away my flowers. Wow, just like her name. Wow. So romantic. He remembered her name and knows what lilies look like. Urgh. It's like just it's slightly off. This isn't romantic. I don't know how she's writing such a bad romance. Like, romance is so easy to do. You just like each other a lot. You pine and yearn and you don't. That's the problem. She had them mention it before they pined and yearned. That's a critical step. You have to pine and yearn. What are we doing here? But anyway, I have to run an ad, so I'll stop now before I start chapter 7. I will be right back. Everybody sit tight during the ad. Okay, I'm back now. Oh, chapter 5. How did we get. Oh, okay, I had two versions of it open. So that was interesting. Thank you. It is good to be back. Um, okay, chapter 7. Stop fidgeting, Devin says. I'm not fidgeting. He loops his arm through mine as he walks me toward the elevator. Yes, you are, and if you pull that top over your cleavage one more time, it'll defeat the whole purpose of your little black dress. He grabs my top and yanks it back down. Ugh! Men are so gross! We have to kill him. We have to kill him. He yanks it back down and then proceeds to reach inside and adjust my bra. Oh god, that's disgusting. Devin! I slap his hand away and he laughs. Relax, Lily. I've touched way better boobs than yours and I'm still gay. Do you think I care? If ugh, ugh. Actually, that's like worse. If that's even possible. What's up with you? Dude, I don't know. I'm get ick. To be frank. There's no other way to describe it. Thoroughly disgusted. Okay, anyway. Yeah, but I bet those boobs were attached to people you probably hang out with more than once every 6 months. Devin laughs. True, but that's half your fault. You're the one who left us high and dry to play with flowers. Devin was one of my favorite people at the marketing firm I worked at, but we weren't close enough to where we actively became friends outside of work. He stopped by the floral shop this afternoon and Alyssa took to him almost immediately. She begged him to come to the party with me since I didn't really want to show up alone. I ended up begging him to come too. I smooth my hands over my hair and try to catch a glimpse of my reflection in the elevator walls. Why are you so nervous? He asks. I'm not nervous. I just hate showing up to places where I don't know anyone. Devin smirks knowingly and then says, What's his name? I released a pent up breath. Am I that transparent? Ryle. He's a neurosurgeon and he wants to have sex with me really, really bad. How do you know he wants to have sex with you? Because he literally got down on his knees and said, Please, Lily, have sex with me. Devin raises an eyebrow. He begged? I nod. It wasn't as pathetic as it sounds. No, it was pretty. I'm gonna be honest with you, Queen. It was pretty pathetic. He is usually more composed. The elevator dings and the doors begin to open. I can hear music pouring from down the hallway. Devin takes both of my hands in his and says, So what's the plan? Do I need to make this guy jealous? No, I say, shaking my head. Yeah, well, yes it was. Uh, I say, shaking my head, that wouldn't be right. But Ryle does make it a point every time he sees me to tell me he hopes he never sees me again. Maybe just a little, I say, scrunching up my nose. A smidge. Devin pops his jaw and says, Consider it done. He puts his hand on my lower back and as he walks me out of the elevator. There's only one visible... He's really funny for that. Okay, anyway, sorry. There's only one visible door in the hallway, so we make our way over and ring the doorbell. Why is there only one door, he says. She owns the whole top floor. He chuckles. And she works for you? Damn, your life just keeps getting more and more interesting. The door begins to open, and I'm extremely relieved to see Alyssa standing in front of me. There's music and laughter pouring out of the apartment behind her. She's holding a champagne glass in one hand and a riding crop in the other. She sees me staring at the riding crop with a confused look on my face, so she tosses it over her shoulder and grabs my hand. It's a long story, she says, laughing. Come in, come in. What the what? What the fuck? Was that relevant? Did we need to write that in? Oh, must be a really fucking crazy party in there. Like, what do I care? She pulls me in, and I squeeze Devin's hand and drag him behind me. She continues pulling us through a crowd of people until we reach the other side of the living room. Hey, she says, tugging on Marshall's arm. He turns around and smiles at me, then pulls me in for a hug. I glance behind him and around us, but there's no sign of Ryle. Maybe I got lucky and he got called into work tonight. Marshall reaches out for Devin's hand and shakes it. Hey, man, good to meet you. Devin wraps it. Devin wraps an arm around my waist. I'm Devin, he yells over the music. I'm Lily's sexual partner. I laugh and elbow him and then lean into his ear. That's Marshall. Wrong guy, but nice effort. No, that was a terrible effort. That was awful. Gay people know how to be partners. Gay people have partners, typically. They just say boyfriend like normal people. It's okay. What are we do? Oh boy. Okay. That was enough for me. Alyssa grabs my arm and starts to pull me away from Devin. Marshall begins speaking to him, and my hand is reaching out behind me as I am being pulled in the opposite direction. You'll be fine, Devin yells. I follow Alyssa into the kitchen where she shoves glass of champagne in my hand. Drink, she says. You deserve it. I take a sip of the champagne, but I can't even appreciate it now that I'm getting a look at her industrial sized kitchen with two full stovetops and a fridge bigger than my apartment. Holy shit, I whisper. You actually live here? She giggles. I know, she says, and to think I didn't even have to marry him for money. Marshall had $7 and drove a Ford Pinto when I fell in love with him. Happy chat cringe. I hear ya. Doesn't he still drive a Ford Pinto? She sighs. Yeah, but we have a lot of good memories in that car. Gross. She wiggles her eyebrows. So, Devin is cute, and probably more into Marshall than me. Aw, man, she says. That's a bummer. I thought I was playing matchmaker when I invited him to the party tonight. The kitchen door opens and Devin walks in. Your husband is looking for you, he says to Alyssa. She twirls her way out of the kitchen, giggling the whole time. I really like her, Devin says. She's great, huh? He leans against the island and says, So, I think I just met the beggar. My heart flutters down my chest. I think the neurosurgeon has a better ring to it. I take another sip of my champagne. How do you know it was him? Did he introduce himself? He shakes his head. Nah, but he overheard Marshall introducing me to someone as Lily's date. I thought the look he gave me was going to set me on fire. That's why I came in here. I like you, but I'm not willing to die for you. I laugh. Don't worry, I'm sure that death glare he gave you was really his smile. They're superimposed most of the time. The door swings open and I immediately stiffen, but it's only a caterer. I sigh with relief. Devin says, Lily, like my name is a disappointment. What? You look like you're about to puke, he says accusingly. You really like him. I roll my eyes, but then I let my shoulders drop and I fake cry. I do, Devin, I do. I just don't want to. He takes my glass of champagne and downs the remainder of it, then locks his arm in mine again. Let's go mingle, he says, pulling me out of the kitchen against my will. The room is even more crowded now. There have to be more than 100 people here. I'm not even sure I know that many people. We walk around and work the room. I stand back while Devin does most of the talking. He knows someone in common with every person he's met so far, and after about a half an hour of following him around, I'm convinced he's made it a personal game to find someone in common with everyone here. The whole time I mingle with him, my attention is half on him and half on the room, searching for traces of Ryle. I don't see him anywhere, and I begin to wonder if the guy Devin saw was even Ryle to begin with. Now this guy better punch his bag. That was a murder in progress there. It was. I wouldn't be surprised if Ryle actually killed him. It, it would be an interesting turn for this book to take. At least Lily would understand that he is a psychopath and would let him go if he was a murderer. Wouldn't that be nice? Ryle homophobic, probably. You're probably right. I wouldn't be surprised if that was also the case. So, really no winning for Devin, if you think about it. Well, that's odd, a woman says. What do you suppose it is? I look up and see she's staring at a piece of art on the wall. It looks like a photograph blown up on a canvas. I tilt my head to inspect it. The woman turns her nose up and says, I don't know why anyone would bother turning that photograph into wall art. It's awful. It's so blurry you can't even tell what it is. She walks away in a huff, and I'm relieved. I mean, it's a bit weird, but who am I to judge Alyssa's taste? What do you think? His voice is low, deep, and right behind me. I close my eyes briefly and inhale a steadying breath before quietly exhaling, hoping he doesn't notice his voice has any effect on me whatsoever. I like it. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's interesting. Your sister has good taste. He steps around me so that he's at my side, facing me. He takes a step closer until he's so close he brushes my arm. Ugh. You brought a date? He's asking it like it's a casual question, but I know it isn't. When I fail to respond, he leans in until he's whispering in my ear. He repeats himself, but this time it isn't a question. You brought a date. Ugh. Minus points for he's right behind me, isn't he? So funny when you put it like that, because that is what she just did. I didn't even think about that. So true. Okay. I find the courage to look over at him and instantly wish I hadn't. He's in a black suit that makes the scrubs look like child's play. First I swallow the unexpected lump in my throat and then I say, is it a problem that I brought a date? I look away from him and back to the photograph hanging on the wall. I was trying to make things easier on you, just trying to make it stop. He smirks and then downs the rest of his wine. How thoughtful of you, Lily. He tosses his empty wine glass towards a trash can in the corner of the room. Why would he do that? Wine glasses are glass. I don't understand. I'm cringing. Wasteful? Yeah. What are we? This is your sister's house. Why are you being an ass? He makes the shot, but the glass shatters when it hits the bottom of the empty container. I glance around me, but no one saw what just happened. When I look back at Ryle, he's halfway down a hallway. He disappears into a room, and I stand there, looking at at the picture again. That's when I see it. The picture is blurred, so it was hard to make out at first, but I can recognize that hair from anywhere. That's my hair. It's hard to miss, along with the marine grade polymer lounge chair I'm lying on. This is the picture he took on the rooftop the first night we met. He must have had it blown up and distorted so no one would notice what it was. Oh my, what the fuck? I bring my hand to my neck because my blood feels like it's bubbling. It's really warm in here. Ooh. Ooh. Ew. How do people read this and be like, he's so hot and passionate and romantic? No, he's giving me the ick, dude. Romantic is when he wants to hold your hand and kiss, maybe. Not posting a picture of you guys together. This, yeah. Oh God, that's so nasty. What are we doing? Why do we still like him? That's super gross. Ah. Okay, I'm gonna kill myself. Alyssa appears at my side. It's weird, huh? She says, looking at the picture. I scratch at my chest. It's really hot in here, I say, don't you think? She glances around the room. Is it? I hadn't noticed, but I'm a little drunk. I'll tell Marshall to turn on the air. She disappears again, and the more I stare at the picture, the angrier I get. The man has a picture of me hanging in the apartment. He bought me flowers. He's giving me attitude because I brought a date to his sister's party. He's acting like there's actually something between us, and we've never even kissed. It all hits me at once. The anger, the irritation. Yes, girl. Kill him. Kill him. The half glass of champagne I had in the kitchen. Girl, that didn't affect you, let's be honest. I'm so mad I can't even think straight. If the guy wants to have sex with me so bad, he shouldn't have fallen asleep. If he doesn't want me to swoon, he shouldn't buy me flowers. He shouldn't hang cryptic pictures of me where he lives. All I want is fresh air. I need fresh air. Luckily, I know just where to find it. Moments later, I burst through the door to the rooftop. There are stragglers from the party up here, 3 of them, seated on the patio furniture. I ignore them and walk to the ledge with a good view and lean over it. I suck in several deep breaths and try to calm myself down. I want to go downstairs and tell him to make up his damn mind, but I know I need to have a clear head before I do that. The air is cold, and for some reason, I blame that on Ryle. Everything is his fault tonight. All of it. Wars, famine, gun violence. It all somehow links back to Ryle. So true. Kill him. We should kill him. I hate his ass. This is the point where you find it and get the fuck out. Exactly. Or kill Ryle. That's fine too. Let's get Devin and kill Ryle. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Can we have a few minutes alone? I spin around and Ryle is standing near the other guests. Immediately all 3 of them nod and I'm cringing. That's disgusting. You can't all just agree to leave. You're very weird. Oh God. Ugh. Anyway, immediately all 3 of them nod and begin to stand up to give us privacy. I hold up my hands and say, "Wait," but none of them look at me. It's not necessary. Really, you don't have to leave. Ryle stands stoically with his hands in his pockets while one of the guests mutters, "It's fine, we don't mind." They begin to file back down the stairwell. I roll my eyes and spin back toward the ledge once I'm alone with him. Does everyone always do what you say? I ask, irritated. He doesn't respond. His footsteps are slow and deliberate as he closes in on me. I mind. Me too. I also mind. I don't want to be alone with this guy. He is weird. We have to kill him right now. Just push him over the ledge. It's the perfect crime. It's not, actually. Everyone would know it was you. But that's fine. Let's say it's self-defense. He's getting closer! So true. We have to run. We can't be standing on a ledge when he's getting closer. So we have to move. at the very least. Get into the center. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows center of the room is where you need to be. Don't ever stay on the walls, apparently. We need to strategize. We need to think about this. Okay. Anyway, he doesn't respond. His footsteps are slow and deliberate as he closes in on me. My heart begins to beat like it's on a speed date, and I start scratching at my chest again. Lily, he says from behind me. I turn around and grip the ledge behind me with both hands. His eyes journey down my cleavage. We have to fucking kill him. We have to kill him right fucking now. As soon as they do, I yank at the top of my dress so he can't see it, and then I grip the ledge again. He laughs and takes another step closer. We're almost touching now. Ugh. And my brain is mush. It's pathetic. I'm pathetic. I feel like you have a lot to say, he says, so I'd like to give you the opportunity to speak your naked truth. I know, laughs! My skin is melting off of my body because of how awful this is. Yeah, you're a girl. Get out. Come on. Oh god, it's awful. So I'd like to give you the opportunity to speak your naked truth. Ha! I say with a laugh. That is laughing. That one really pissed me off. Are you sure about that? He nods, so I prepare to let him have it. I push against his chest and make my way around him so that he's the one leaning against the ledge now. Yes, let's fucking kill him! I can't tell what you want, Ryle, and every time I get to the point where I start to not give a shit, you show up again out of the blue. You show up at my work, you show up at my apartment door, you show up at parties, I live here, he says, excusing the last one. That pisses me off even more. I clench my fists. Ugh, you're driving me crazy. Do you want me or do you not? He stands up straight and takes a step toward me. Oh, I want you, Lily. Make no mistake about that. I just don't want to want you. Cringe! My whole body sighs at that comment. What? I don't want a guy who doesn't want to want me. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be honest. That's weird. Anyway, my whole body sighs at that comment, partly out of frustration and partly because everything he says makes me shiver, and I hate that I allow him to make me feel like this. I shake my head. You don't get it, do you? I say, softening my voice. I feel too defeated right now to keep yelling at him. I like you, Ryle, and knowing that you only want me for one night makes me really, really sad. And maybe if this were a few months ago, we could have had sex and it would have been fine. You would have walked away, and I could have easily moved on with my life, but it's not a few months ago. You waited too long, and too many pieces of me are invested in you now. So please, stop flirting with me, stop hanging pictures of me in your apartment, and stop sending me flowers. Because when you do those things, it doesn't feel good, Ryle. It actually kind of hurts. I feel deflated and exhausted, and I'm ready to leave. He regards me silently, and I respectfully give him time to make his rebuttal, but he doesn't. He just turns around, leans over the ledge, and stares down the street like he didn't hear a single word I said. You have to kill him. Forgot the word for broom. Someone take me home. Oh no. Yes, kill his ass. We're getting too forgiving. Is he gonna jump? I hope so. Okay, crossing fingers, but I doubt it. Um, I walk across the roof and open the door, half expecting him to call out my name or ask me not to leave. I get all the way back to the apartment before I finally lose all hope of that happening. I push through the crowd and make it through 3 different rooms before I spot Devin. When he sees the look on my face, he just nods and begins to make his way across the room toward me. Ready to go? He asks, looping his arm through mine. I nod. Hope he dies. So true. I nod. Yes, so ready. We find Alyssa in the main living room. I tell her and Marshall goodnight, using the excuse that I'm just exhausted from the opening week and I'd like to get some sleep before work tomorrow. Alyssa gives me a hug and walks us to the front door. I'll be back on Monday, she says to me, kissing me on the cheek. Happy birthday, I say to her. Devin opens the door, but right before we step into the hallway, I hear someone yell my name. I turn around and Ryle is pushing through the crowd on the other side of the room. Lily, wait, he yells, still trying to make his way over to me. My heart is erratic. He's walking quickly, stepping around people, growing more frustrated with every person in his way. He finally reaches a break in the crowd and makes eye contact with me. He holds my gaze as he marches toward me. He doesn't slow down. Alyssa has to step out of the way as he walks straight up to me. At first, I think he might kiss me, or at least give a rebuttal to everything I said to him upstairs. But instead, he does something I'm not at all prepared for. He scoops me up into his arms. Ew! Don't touch me. That's disgusting. Put me down. Exactly. So true. Unacceptable. People are in the vicinity. What are you thinking? You're nasty. You're abysmal. I'm going to set you on fire. I'm going to watch you drown. Please. Go away. Get off of me. Yuck. Ryle, I yell, gripping him around the neck, afraid he might drop me. Put me down! He has an arm wrapped under my legs and one under my back. I need to borrow Lily for the night, he says to Devin. That okay? I look at Devin and shake my head wide-eyed. Devin just smirks and says, be my guest. Traitor! Ryle starts to turn and walk back toward the living room. I look at Alyssa as I pass her. Her eyes are wide with confusion. I'm going to kill your brother, I yell at her. Everyone in the entire room is staring now. I'm so embarrassed. I just press my face against Ryle's chest. Ew, don't do that. I know. Dude, men are scary. Like some men are like this. The fact that we're writing this kind of stuff, no, stop. Don't do it. Don't. Sorry, I hit the mic really bad. Everyone in the room is staring now. I'm so embarrassed. I just press my face against Ryle's chest as he walks me down the hallway and into his bedroom. Oh my god. Ew. Once the door is shut behind us, he slowly lowers my feet back to the floor. I immediately start to yell at him and try to push him out of the way of the bedroom door, but he spins me and shoves me against the door, grabbing both of my wrists. He presses them against the wall above my head and says, Lily? Ugh. Devin just being like, be my guest. Like, okay, so will you never... Right. All the men are trash. Even gay men. Ah! All men are the same. You were all raised men. And that's disgusting. There's something wrong with you guys. Okay. Anyway. Okay. He's looking at me so intently, I stop trying to fight him off of me and I hold my breath. His chest is pressing against mine. My back is pressed to the door and then his mouth is on mine. Warm pressure against my lips. Boys will be boys. And I have a gun. I have a little gun. Hey, boys will be boys. Would you like to see an unregistered firearm? Like, that's... Yuck. I have a bag. Let's get this done. So true, guys. Slay. It's your time. Despite the strength behind them, his lips are like silk. Ew. I'm shocked at the moan that rushes through me, and even more shocked when I part my lips and want more. His tongue slides against mine, and he releases my wrists to grab my face. His kiss grows deeper, and I grasp at his hair, pulling him closer, feeling the kiss in my entire body. Yes, Cat has an unregistered bag. Together we will kill John Lennon. Kill John Lennon. So true. Ryle Kincaid or whatever. Both of us become a medley of moans and gasps as the kiss brings us over the edge. Our bodies wanting more than our mouths can deliver. I feel his hands as he reaches down and grabs my legs, lifting me up and hooking them around my waist. My God, this man can kiss. Thank God we're... It's... It's just... That's how it feels, though. Like... If I was reading this on my own, I'd be like, yep. I actually still get the ick because this is like a yucky situation, but like reading it out loud is a different ballgame. It's not my fault. I don't know. I also don't know how much I'm allowed to actually read of this. Like, I don't know how too spicy is too spicy. You can skip. It's okay. Not a big. Despite my discomfort, I commit, and this is everyone else's problem. You will have to stop soon. I will. Actually. Oh, okay. I thought you meant there's actually gonna be a legitimate sex scene. That's the only way I'll stop. Is if we start. No. It has to get worse than this. We read Gord Van Dome's Downward Spiral got about this bad. I will only stop as soon as there's actual sex. Then I won't read it. And even then, me and God will not hesitate to take that. I'll keep that in mind. This will not stop me, apparently. Okay, okay, we're back to Wattpad, so it's fine. My god, this man can kiss. It's as if he takes kissing as seriously as he takes his profession. He begins to pull me away from the door, and when I'm hit with the realization that yes, his mouth is capable of a lot, but what his mouth has failed to do is respond to everything I've told him upstairs. For all I know, I've just given in. I'm giving him what he wants, a one-night stand, and that's the last thing he deserves right now. Yes, girl! Yes, and that was fanfiction. It's allowed to be cringe on a published book. Prison. So true. They didn't have straight unconsensual sex. It sounds like we're stopping. Relax, you guys. She's telling him no. I pull my mouth from his and push on his shoulders. Put me down. He keeps walking toward his bed, so I say it again. Ryle, put me down right now. He stops walking and lowers me to the floor. I have to back away and face the other direction to gather my thoughts. Looking at him, while I still feel his lips on mine, is more than I can deal with right now. I feel his arms go around my waist, and he rests his head on my shoulder. I'm sorry, he whispers. Ew! It ain't over till he's over. So true. He turns me around and brings a hand up to my face and brushes his thumb across my cheek. It's my turn now, okay? What? What do you mean it's your turn? I'm sorry? I was like, no, exactly. What the fuck do you mean it's your turn? No, it's not. I'm leaving, actually. You're a piece of shit and I'm leaving. Ew. I don't respond to his touch. I keep my arms folded across my chest and wait to hear what he has to say before I allow myself to respond to his touch. Getting my unregistered bag ready right now. So true. Kill John. You might want to ready that unregistered firearm as well. I don't know. I don't. Okay. I had that picture made the day after I took it. He says it's been in my apartment for months now because you were the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen, and I wanted to look at it every single day. I'm gonna buy 2 firearms. Methinks. Yeah, I'd be very good. Okay. Okay. Um. Oh, and that night I showed up at your door. I went searching for you because no one in the history of my life has ever crawled in my skin and refused to leave like you did. I didn't know how to handle it. And the reason I sent you flowers this week is because I am really proud of you for following your dream. But if I sent you flowers every time I've had the urge to send you flowers, you wouldn't even be able to fit inside your apartment. Because that's how much I think about you. And yes, Lily, you're right. I'm hurting you, but I'm hurting too. You think not me, man. And until tonight, I didn't know why. I have no idea how I even possibly find the strength to speak after that. Why are you hurting? He drops his forehead to mine and says, because I have no idea what I'm doing. You make me want to be a different person, but what if I don't know how to be what you need? This is all new to me, and I want to prove to you that I want you for so much more than just one night. This is happening so early in the book, man. I'm confused. This feels like an end game plot point. if he tried talking to her, like a normal dude, mark my words, Alice returns. There's no way he doesn't. Like, he has to come back because that's been such a big point of contention in the past chapters. He has to come back. And it has to cause problems. And I bet my bottom fucking dollar he's such a good goddamn person. And we're stuck with this fucking guy. And like, it's nice that he wants to change for her and everything. You could have just said that, man. You didn't have to carry me into your room and then wait for me to push you off before you told me this. I don't remember which relationship was more toxic, so it's anyone's guess. Oh, no way. The other one isn't even that good. Classic. Classic romance book shit, honestly. Yes. There's something so, okay. The dollar store romance novel never hurt anybody, okay? Everyone is happy. Everyone hangs out. Everything is chill. Regular romance novels, it's anyone's fucking guess as to what happens. It's terrible. I'm not buying it. I think Ryla's gonna be awful and she's gonna get with Atlas. Calling it. Atlas Endgame. No, one of them was bad, but I don't know which one. We don't know which one? He can't be homeless and not get the girl. I have a feeling he might be homeless and not get the girl, man. There's no way that all this is happening. What does it all mean, dude? I don't understand. This is out of my territory. Again, dollar store romance novels, super classic. Yearning, get together, miscommunication, third act breakup, get back together. That's the Atlas Endgame Supremacy. This is happening too fast. I agree, this is happening quite quickly. It's cheesy, but everything is like, and we all lived happily ever after, and it's like, it's good. It's pretty easy to you open a dollar store romance novel, you open it up, it's not gonna be anything new. It's gonna be pretty, your expectations will be met. And sometimes that's what you need. This, I don't know what's going on. I'm scared and confused. Okay. We're refocusing. I believe in us. Okay. Okay. He looks so vulnerable right now. I want to believe the genuine look in his eye, but he's been so adamant since the day that I met him that he wants the exact opposite of what I want, and it terrifies me that I'll give in to him and he'll walk away. How do I prove myself to you, Lily? Tell me and I'll do it. I don't know. I barely know the guy. I know him enough to know that sex with him won't be enough with me though. Enough for me though. But how do I know sex won't be the only thing he wants? Wait, before you get on the plane to big business land, I have to tell you something. I love you. And it right exactly. Or it's like, I can't believe you wanted to leave to go to big business land. How could you? I'm breaking up with you. And then they like separate, and then the guy is on the plane, or like the girl is on the plane, and then she's like, whoever is on the plane is like, no, I love them so much, I have to go right now. Stop the plane. I'm not taking the flight. And then they get off and they like, wait. And then they it's like, yes, it's so good. He looks so vulnerable right now. Girl, here's a picture of you. And you're like, yeah. And it's huge. If it was like a smaller one, maybe it would be okay. Like maybe if the picture was just like one he kept on his phone, it wouldn't be so weird because she agreed to take the picture. So it wasn't like so bad. Dude, I don't like Ross and Rachel and Friends, but they hit that. It's so fucking yummy, man. Exactly. The couple doesn't even have to be good if they start doing the tropes. That's all I'm saying. Hi, man, you one time and I put your photo on my wall for months and I tracked you down just to have sex with you. I'm hurting right now. Babe, you haven't answered my knocking on the door for sex. Are you okay? That's pretty funny. Okay. Anyway. How do I know sex won't be the only thing he wants? My eyes instantly lock with his. Don't have sex with me. He stares at me for a moment, completely unreadable. But then he starts to nod his head like he's finally getting it. Okay, he says, still nodding. Okay. I will not have sex with you, Lily Bloom. He walks around me to his bedroom door and locks it. He flips off the light, leaving only a lamp on, then takes off his shirt as he walks toward me. What are you doing? He tosses his shirt on a chair and then slips off his shoes. We're going to sleep. I glance at him, at his bed, then at him. Right now? He nods and walks over to me. In one swift movement, he lifts my dress. Oh, no, bro. Oh, don't. Okay. Oh, you can't do that, bro. I was like, okay. He still did all that other shit, but let's go to bed. Okay. Sounds okay. Not feeling too great about it, but let's go to bed. Okay. Sure. Don't take off my clothes, bro. Girl, I'm on the phone with the judge right now. Exactly. Good. Good. It needs to get done. We need to get this through the system as quickly as possible so he can't fucking take off her clothes anymore. Oh my god. Ugh. Okay. Anyway. In one swift movement, he lifts my dress up and over my head until I'm standing in the middle of his bedroom in my bra and panties. I cover myself, but he doesn't even look twice. He pulls me toward the bed and lifts the covers for me to crawl in. As he's walking over to his side of the bed, he says, "It's not like we haven't slept together before without having sex." Piece of cake. I laugh. He reaches his dresser and plugs his phone into a charger. I take a moment to skim his bedroom. This certainly isn't the type of spare bedroom I'm used to. 3 of my bedrooms could fit in here. There's a couch against the other wall, a chair facing a television, and a full office off the bedroom that looks complete with a floor to ceiling library. I'm still trying to see everything around me when the lamp goes off. Your sister is really rich, I say as I feel him pull the covers over both of us. What the hell does she do with the $10 an hour I pay her? Wipe her ass with it? He laughs and grabs my hand, sliding his fingers through mine. She probably doesn't even cash the checks, he says. Have you ever checked? I haven't. Now I'm curious. Good night, Lily, he says. I can't stop smiling because this is kind of ridiculous and so great. Good night, Ryle. I have my unregistered bag at the ready to take the shot. I love unregistered bag. I think it's my favorite bit we've come up with so far. $10 an hour. Oh, Lily is like, to be fair, 2000 what 18, a couple years ago. Not not good. No, to be fair, not to be fair. No, okay. I mean, she's super fucking rich. I actually don't give a shit about her paychecks. About Alyssa's paychecks. She's fucking loaded. I could give a shit less what she's getting paid. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna do be fair for Lily here. I don't give a shit what Alyssa's getting paid. Zero. No fucks. Not a one. They're gone. As soon as we found out she owned an entire floor of an apartment building, I don't give a fuck. I care about workers' rights as soon as they need the money. If I am paying them to live, if I am paying them, she's making universal. You're so funny. I can't believe I'm arguing against it. But like owning a whole apartment floor, shut the fuck up. I don't give a shit. You should wipe your ass at the $10 I'm giving you. Like, you don't need it. Because at that point, she could hire somebody else and actually pay the fucking person who needs the job. But whatever. I think I might be lost. Everything is so white and so clean, it's blinding. I shuffle through one of the living rooms and try. Jesus, this is what I'm saying. And try to find my way to the kitchen. I have no idea where my dress ended up last night, so I pulled on one of Ryle's shirts. It falls past my knees, and I wonder if he has to buy shirts that are too big for him just so they'll fit his arms. There are too many windows and way too much sun, so I'm forced to shield my eyes as I go in search of coffee. I push through the kitchen doors and find a coffee maker. Thank you, Jesus. I can't. I'm sorry. I set it to brew and then go in search of for a mug. Then the kitchen door opens behind me. I spin around and I'm relieved to see that Alyssa isn't always a perfect concoction of makeup and jewelry. Her hair is in a messy top knot and mascara is smeared down her cheeks. She points at the coffee maker. I'm gonna need me some of that, she says. She pulls herself up on the island and then slouches forward. Can I ask you a question? I say. She barely has the energy to nod. I wave my hand around the kitchen. How did this happen? How in the hell did your entire house become spotless between the party last night and me waking up just now? Did you stay up and clean? She laughs. We have people for that. I'm not paying someone who has people for that $10 an hour. You're getting zero. What the fuck do you mean we have people for that? Don't get. Oh, I hate that. People? She nods. Yep, there are people for everything, she says. You'd be surprised. Think of something. Anything. We probably have people for it. Groceries? People, she says. Christmas decor? She nods. People for that too. What about birthday gifts? Like for family members? She grins. Yep, people. Everyone in my family receives a gift and a card for every occasion, and I never have to lift a finger. I shake my head. Wow. How long have you been this rich? 3 years, she says. Marshall sold a few apps he developed to Apple for a lot of money. Every 6 months, he creates updates and sells those too. Huh? Workers' rights man. I actually don't give a fuck. I think everyone in this story should be assistant coding. You're terrible. I'm a workers' rights head too, but I have my line. There's points. I think. Okay, anyway, the coffee transitions into a slow drip, so I grab a mug and fill it up. You want anything in yours? I ask, or do you have people for that? She laughs. Yes, I have you, and I'd like sugar, please. I stir some sugar in her cup and walk it over to her, then pour myself a cup. It grows quiet for a while I mix in creamer, waiting for her to say something about me and Ryle. The conversation is inevitable. Can we just get the awkwardness out of the way? She says. I sigh, relieved. Please, I hate this. I face her and take a sip of my coffee. She sets hers down beside her and then grips the countertop. How did that even happen? I shake my head, trying my best not to smile like I'm love struck. I don't want her to think I'm weak or a fool for giving in to him. We met before I knew you. She tilts her head. Wait, she says, before we got to know each other better or before we knew each other at all? At all, I say. We had a moment one night, about 6 months before I met you. A moment, she says, as in a one night stand? No, I say. We never even kissed until last night. I don't know. I can't explain it. We just had this sort of flirtation thing going on for a really long time, and it finally came to a head last night. That's all. Very weird way to put it. But sure. She picks up her coffee again and takes a slow drink from it. She stares down at the floor for a while, and I can't help but notice she looks a little sad. Alyssa, you're not mad at me, are you? She immediately shakes her head. No, Lily, I just. She sets down her coffee cup again. I just know my brother, and I love him. I really do, but. But what? Alyssa and I both look in the direction of the voice. Ryle is standing in the doorway with his arms folded across his chest. He's wearing a pair of gray jogging pants that are barely hanging onto his hips. No shirt. I'll be adding this outfit to all the other ones I've cataloged in my head. Yeah, he's my stalker. Love him. Think I might marry him. She didn't explain the situation right at all. Like, sure, flirtation thing. It's been happening so long, it's way weirder than a flirtation thing. Like, what are you saying right now? Be serious for a moment, please. Okay. Ryle pushes off the door and makes his way into the kitchen. He walks over to me and takes my cup of coffee out of my hands. He leans in and kisses me on the forehead, then takes a drink as he leans against the counter. What are we, married, bitch? Give me my coffee back. Cringe. Fuck you. Don't piss me off. I didn't mean to interrupt, he says to Alyssa. By all means, continue your conversation. Alyssa rolls her eyes and says, Stop. He hands me back my cup of coffee and turns around to grab his own mug. He begins to pour from the pot. It sounded to me like you're about to give Lily a warning. I'm just curious as to what you have to say. Alyssa hops off the counter and carries her mug to the sink. She's my friend, Ryle. You don't have the best track record when it comes to relationships. She watches out the mug and leans her hip into the sink, facing us. As her friend, I have the right to give her my opinion when it comes to the guys she dates. That's what friends do. I'm suddenly feeling uncomfortable as the tension grows thicker between the two of them. Ryle doesn't even take a drink of his coffee. He walks toward Alyssa and pours it down the sink. He's standing right in front of her, but she won't look at him. Well, as your brother, I would hope you would have had a little more faith in me than you do. That's what siblings do. He walks out of the kitchen, shoving the door open. When he's gone, Alyssa takes a deep breath. She shakes her head and pulls her hands up to her face. Sorry about that, forcing a smile. I need a shower. That wasn't a cringe. That was a. Oh, what? It was like a Ryle hit. We get like. We gotta kill him, man. He has to go. Of your coffee. Of your coffee. Disgusting. Spit that out! My coffee. Ryle damage. Oh my god. Like psychic damage, but it's Ryle specific. Yeah. I take 2 hit points every time he's even mentioned. And the whole book is about him. I'm losing years off of my life as we read this. Okay, anyway. You don't have people for that? She laughs as she exits the kitchen. I wash my mug in the sink and head back to Ryle's bedroom. When I open the door, he's sitting on the couch, scrolling through his phone. He doesn't look up at me when I walk in, and for a second I think he might be mad at me too. But then he tosses his phone aside and leans back on the couch. Come here, he says. He grabs my hand and pulls me down on top of him so I'm straddling him. He brings my mouth to his and kisses me so hard it makes me wonder if he's trying to prove his sister wrong. Ryle pulls away from my mouth and slowly rakes his eyes down my body. I like you in my clothes. I smile. Well, I have to get to work, so unfortunately I can't keep them on. He brushes the hair from my face and says, I have a really important surgery coming up that I need to prepare for, which means I probably won't see you for a few days. I try to hide my HP decreasing, man. So true. It's happening right now. The life force is being sucked from us. I try to hide my disappointment, but I have to get used to it if he really wants to try and make something work between us. He's already warned me he works too much. I'm busy too. Grand opening is on Friday. He says, Oh, I'll see you before Friday. Promise. I don't hide my grin this time. Sorry, I love to scroll, and I'm not really supposed to. I don't hide my grin this time. Okay. He kisses me again, this time for a solid minute. He starts to lower me to the couch, but then he shoves away from me and says, Nope, I like you too much to make out with you. I lie down on the couch and watch him get dressed for work. To my enjoyment, he puts on scrubs. Ugh. Ugh. Chapter 8. We need to talk, Lucy says. She is sitting on the couch, mascara streaked down her cheeks. Oh shit. I drop my purse and rush over to her. As soon as I sit down next to her, she starts crying. What's wrong? Did Alex break up with you? She starts shaking her head, and then I really start freaking out. Please don't say cancer. I grab her hand, and that's when I see it. That's when I see it. Lucy, you're engaged? She nods. I'm sorry. I know we still have 6 months left on the lease, but he wants me to move in with him. I stare at her for a minute. Is that why she's crying? Because she wants out of her lease? She reaches for a tissue and starts dabbing at her eyes. Also, I'll be back. I'm starving and need to go to the bathroom, which I'm sad I will miss some story, but just in case not. Thank you for your early 9 to 5. It is appreciated as always. I feel awful, Lily. You're going to be all alone. I'm moving and you won't have anyone. What the? Lucy, I'll be fine, I promise. She looks up at me with hope in her expression. Really? Why in the world does she have this impression of me? I nod again. Yes, I'm not mad at you. I'm happy for you. She throws her arms around me and hugs me. Oh, thank you, Lily. She starts giggling in between bouts of tears. When she releases me, she jumps up and says, I have to go tell Alex. He was so worried you wouldn't let me out of my lease. She grabs her purse and shoes and disappears out the front door. I lie back on the couch and stare up at the ceiling. Did she just play me? I start laughing because until this moment I had no idea how much I've been waiting for this to happen. The whole place to myself. What's even better is when I do decide to have sex with Ryle, we can have it over here all the time and not have to worry about being quiet. You have to go to jail. Sorry. Can't talk about that shit. You sound stupid. The last time I spoke to Ryle was when I left his apartment on Saturday. We agreed upon a trial run. No commitments yet, just a relationship feeler to see if it's something we both want. It's now Monday night, and I'm a little disappointed I haven't heard from him. I gave him my phone number before we parted Saturday, but I don't really know texting etiquette, especially for trial runs. Regardless, I'm not texting him first. I decide to occupy my time with teenage angst and Ellen DeGeneres instead. We are so back, baby. Let's fucking go. And I'm not about to raid around to be beckoned by a guy I'm not even having sex with. But I don't know why I assume that reading about the first guy I had sex with will somehow get my mind off the guy I'm not having sex with. Dear Ellen, my great grandfather's name is Ellis. My entire life I thought that was a really cool name for such an old guy. After he died, I was reading the obituary. Would you believe that Ellis wasn't even his real name? His name was Levi Sampson, and I had no idea. I asked my grandmother where the name Ellis came from. He said his initials were LS, and everyone called him by his initials for so long, they started sounding them out over the years, which is why they referred to him as Ellis. I was looking at your name just now, and it made me think of that. Ellen, is that even your real name? You could be just like my great grandfather and using your initials as a disguise. LN. I'm on to you, Ellen. Speaking of names, do you think Atlas is a weird name? It is, isn't it? Yeah, we were discussing that just now. Yesterday, while I was watching your show with him, I asked him where he got his name from. He said he didn't know. Without even thinking, I told him he should ask his mother why she named him that. He just looked over for a second and said, "It's a little too late for that." I don't know what he meant by that. I don't know if his mom died or if she gave him up for adoption. We've been friends for a few weeks now, and I still don't know anything about him or why he doesn't have a place to live. I would just ask him, but I'm not sure if he really trusts me yet. He seems to have trust issues, and I guess I can't blame him. I'm worried about him. It started getting really cold this week, and it's supposed to be even colder next week. If he doesn't have electricity, that means he doesn't have a heater. I hope he at least has blankets. Do you know how awful I would feel if he froze to death? Pretty freaking awful, Ellen. I'll find some blankets this week and give them to him. Lily. Dear Ellen, going to start snowing soon, so I decided to harvest my garden today. Had already pulled the radishes, so I just wanted to put some mulch and compost down, which wouldn't have taken me long, but Atlas insisted on helping. He asked me a lot of questions about gardening, and I liked that he seemed interested in my interests. I showed him how to lay the compost and mulch to cover the ground so that the snow wouldn't do too much damage. My garden is small compared to most gardens, maybe 10 feet by 12 feet, but it's all my dad will let me use of the backyard. Atlas covered the whole thing while I sat cross legged in the grass and watched him. I wasn't being lazy, he just took over and wanted to do it, so I let him. I can tell he's a hard worker. I wonder if maybe keeping himself busy takes his mind off of things, and that's why he always wants to help me so much. When he was finished, he walked over and dropped down next to me on the grass. "What made you want to grow things?" he asked. I glanced over at him, and he was sitting cross legged, looking at me curiously. I realized in that moment that he's probably the best friend I've ever had, and we barely know anything about each other. I have friends at school, but they're never allowed to come over to my house for obvious reasons. My mother is always worried something might happen with my father and word might get out about his temper. I also never really get to go to other people's houses, but I'm not sure why. Maybe my father doesn't want me staying over at friends' houses because I might witness how good a husband is supposed to treat his wife. He probably wants me to believe the way he treats my mother is normal. Alice is the best friend I've ever had that's ever been inside my house. He is also the first friend to know how much I like to garden, and now he's the first friend to ever ask me why I garden. I reached down and pulled. Ew. Kill. Chat is safe again. Once more. Really easy. Love you, Chatterina. Anyway, da-da-da-da. I reached down and pulled at a weed and started tearing it into little pieces while I thought about his question. When I was 10, my mother got a subscription to a website called Seeds Anonymous, I said. Every month, I would get an unmarked package of seeds in the mail with instructions on how to plant them and care for them. I wouldn't know what I was growing until it came up out of the ground. Every day after school, I'd run straight to the backyard to see the progress. It gave me something to look forward to. Growing things felt like a reward. I could feel Atlas staring at me when he asked, "A reward for what?" I shrugged. "For loving my plants the right way. Plants reward you based on the amount of love you show them. If you're cruel to them or neglect them, they give you nothing. But if you care for them and love them the right way, they reward you with gifts in the form of vegetables or fruits or flowers." I looked down at the weed I was tearing apart in my hands, and there was barely an inch left of it. I wadded it up between my fingers and flicked it. I didn't want to look over at Atlas because I could feel him staring, so instead I just stared out over my mulch-covered garden. "We're just alike," he said. My eyes flicked to his. "Me and you?" He shook his head. No, plants and humans. Plants need to be loved the right way in order to survive. So do humans. We rely on our parents from birth to love us enough to keep us alive. And if our parents show us the right kind of love, we turn out as better humans overall. But if we're neglected, his voice grew quiet, almost sad. He wiped his hands on his knees, trying to get some of the dirt off. If we're neglected, we end up hopeless and incapable of anything meaningful. His words made my heart feel like the mulch he had just laid out. I didn't even know what to say to that. Does he really think that about himself? He acted like he was about to get up, but before he did, I said his name. He sat back down in the grass. I pointed at the row of trees that lined the fence to the left of the yard. You see that tree over there? In the middle of the row of trees was an oak that stood taller than the rest of the trees. Alice glanced over at it and dragged his eyes all the way up to the top of the tree. It grew on its own, I said. Most plants do need a lot of care to survive, but some things, like trees, are strong enough to do it just by relying on themselves and nobody else. I had no idea if he knew what I was trying to say without me coming out and saying it, but I just wanted him to know that I thought he was strong enough to survive whatever was going on in his life. I didn't know him well, but I could tell he was resilient, way more than I ever would be if I were in his situation. His eyes were glued to the tree. It was a long time before he even blinked. When he finally did, he just nodded a little and looked down at the grass. I thought with the way his mouth twitched that he was about to frown, but instead he actually smiled a little. Seeing that smile made my heart feel like I had just startled it right out of a deep sleep. We're just alike, he said, repeating himself from earlier. Plants and humans? I asked. He shook his head. No, me and you. I gasped, Ellen. I hope you didn't notice, but I definitely sucked in a rush of air, because what the heck was I supposed to say to that? I just sat there, really awkward and quiet, until he stood up. He turned like he was about to walk home. Atlas, wait. He glanced down at me. I pointed at his hands and said, You might want to take a quick shower before you go back. Compost is made from cow manure. He lifted his hands and looked down at them, and then he looked down at his compost covered clothes. Cow manure? Seriously? I grinned and nodded. He laughed a little, and then before I knew it, he was on the ground next to me, wiping his hands all over me. We were both laughing as he reached to the bag next to us and stuck his hands inside, then smeared it down my arm. Ellen, I am confident that the next sentence I am about to write has never been written or spoken out loud before. When he was wiping that cow shit on me, it was quite possibly the most turned on I've ever been. Dude, no fucking way. You can't say that. You, you can't say that. Okay, sorry. Oh my god, you're insane. After a few minutes, we were both lying on the ground, breathing hard and still laughing. He finally stood up and pulled me to my feet, knowing he couldn't waste minutes if he wanted a shower before my parents come home. Once he was in the shower, I washed my hands in the sink and just stood there, wondering what he meant earlier when he said we were just alike. Was it a compliment? It sure felt like one. What was he saying? He thought I was strong too? Because I certainly didn't feel strong most of the time. In that moment, just thinking about him made me feel weak. I wondered what I was going to do about the way I was starting to feel when I was around him. I also wondered how long I can keep hiding him from my parents and how long he'll be staying at that house. Winters in Maine are unbearably cold, and he won't survive without a heater or blankets. I gathered myself and went in search of all the spare blankets I could find. I was going to give them to him when he got out of the shower, but it was already 5 and he left in a hurry. I'll give them to him tomorrow. Lily. Dear Ellen, Harry Connick Jr. is freaking hilarious. I'm not sure if you've ever had him on your show because I hate to admit I've probably missed an episode or two since you've been on the air. But if you've never had him, you should. Actually, have you ever watched Late Night with Conan O'Brien? He has this guy named Andy who sits on the couch for every episode. I wish Harry could sit on your couch for every episode. He just has the best one-liners, and the two of you together would be epic. I just wanted to say thank you. I know that you don't have a show on TV for the sole purpose of making me laugh, but sometimes it feels that way. Sometimes my life just feels like I've lost the ability to laugh or smile. And then I turn on your show, and no matter what mood I'm in when I turn on the TV, I always feel better by the time your show is over. So yeah, thanks for that. I know you probably want an update on Atlas, and I'll give you one in a second, but first I need to tell you what happened yesterday. My mother is a teaching assistant over at Brymer Elementary. It's a bit of a drive, and that's why she never gets home until around 5 o'clock. My dad works 2 miles from here, so he is always home right after 5. We have a garage, but only one car can fit in it because of all my dad's stuff. My dad keeps his car in the garage, and my mom keeps her car in the driveway. Well, yesterday my mom got home a little bit early. My Atlas was still at the house, and we were almost finished watching your show when I heard the garage start to open. He ran out the back door, and I rushed around the living room cleaning up our cans and snacks. It had started snowing really hard around lunchtime, and my mother had a lot of stuff to carry in. So she pulled up in the garage so she could bring it all in through the kitchen door. It was work stuff and a few groceries. I was helping her bring everything inside when my dad pulled up in the driveway. He started honking his horn because he's mad that my mom parked in the garage. I guess he didn't want to have to get out of his car in the snow. That's the only thing I can think of that would make him want her to move her car right then and there, instead of just waiting until she was finished unloading it. Come to think of it, why does my father always get the garage? You would think a man wouldn't want the woman he loves to get the shittier parking spot. So true. Anyway, my mother got that real scared look in her eye when he started honking, and she told me to take all her stuff to the table as she moved her car out. I'm not sure what happened when she went back outside. I heard a crash, and then I heard her scream, so I ran to the garage thinking she had slipped on ice. Ellen, I don't even want to describe what happened next. I'm a little shocked by the whole thing. I opened the garage door and didn't see my not mom. I just saw my dad behind the car doing something. I took a Oh God. I took a step closer and realized why I couldn't see my mom. He had pushed her down on the hood and with his hands around her throat. He was choking her, Ellen. I can't take the Ellen thing seriously. I might cry just thinking about it. He was yelling at her and staring her down at her with so much hatred, something about not having respect for how hard he works. I don't know why he was mad, really, because all I could hear was silence when she struggled to breathe. Happy 9:05, everybody. Ooh, what a fun time for it. The next few minutes are a blur, but I know I started screaming at him. I jumped on his back and was hitting him on the side of his head. Then I wasn't. I don't really know what happened, but I'm guessing he threw me off of him. I just remembered 1 second I was on his back, and the next second I was on the ground and my forehead hurt like you wouldn't believe. My mom was sitting next to me holding my head and telling me she was sorry. I looked around for my dad, but he wasn't there. He'd gotten into his car and drove off after I hit my head. My mom gave me a rag and told me to hold it to my head because it was bleeding, and she helped me to her car and drove me to the hospital. On the way there, she only said one thing to me. When they asked you what happened, tell them you slipped on the ice. When she said that, I just looked out my window and started crying, because I thought for sure this was the final straw, that she would leave him now that he had hurt me. That was the moment I realized she'd never leave him. I felt so defeated I was too scared to say anything to her about it. I had to get 9 stitches in my forehead. I'm still not sure what I hit my head on, but it doesn't really matter. The fact is, my father was the reason I was hurt, and he didn't even stay to check in on me. He just left us both there on the floor of the garage and left. Got home really late last night and fell right to sleep because they had given me some kind of pain pill. This morning when I walked the bus, I tried not to look directly at Atlas so he wouldn't see my forehead. I'd fixed my hair so you couldn't really see it, and he didn't notice right away. When we sat down next to each other on the bus, our hands touched when we were pulling our stuff on the floor. His hands were like ice, Ellen. Ice. That's when I realized I forgot to give him the blankets I had pulled out for him yesterday because my mother got home sooner than I expected. The incident in the garage sort of took over all my thoughts, and I completely forgot about him. It had snowed and iced all night, and he had been over there at that house in the dark all by himself, and now he was so cold I didn't even know how he was functioning. I grabbed both of his hands in mine and said, "Atlas, you're freezing." He didn't say anything. I just started rubbing his hands and mine to warm them up. I laid my head on his shoulder, and then I did the most embarrassing thing. I just started to cry. I don't cry very much, but I was still so upset by what happened yesterday, and then I was feeling so guilty that I forgot to take him blankets, and it all hit me right there on the ride to school. He didn't say anything. He just pulled his hands from mine so I'd stop rubbing them, and he laid his hands on top of mine. We just sat there like that the whole ride to school with our heads leaning together and his hands on top of mine. I might have thought it was sweet if it wasn't so sad. On the ride home is when he finally noticed my head. Honestly, I had forgotten about it. No one at school had even asked me about it, and when he sat down next to me on the bus, I wasn't even trying to hide it with my hair. He looked right at me and said, "What happened to your head?" I didn't know what to say to him. I just touched it with my fingers and then looked out the window. I've been trying to get him to trust me more in hopes that he would tell me why he doesn't have a place to live, so I didn't want to lie to him. I just didn't want to tell him the truth either. When the bus started moving, he said, "Yesterday, after I left your house, I heard something going on over there. I heard yelling. I heard you scream, and then I saw your father leave. I was going to come back and check on you to make sure everything was okay, but as I was walking over, I saw you leaving in the car with your mother. He must have heard the fight in the garage and saw her leaving to take me to get the stitches. I couldn't believe he came over to our house. Do you know what my dad would do to him if he saw him wearing his clothes. I got so worried for him because I don't think he knows what my father is capable of. I looked at him and said, Atlas, you can't do that. You can't come to my house when my parents are home. Atlas got real quiet and then said, I heard you scream, Lily. He said it like me being in danger trumped anything else. I felt bad because I know he was trying to help, but that would have made things so much worse. I fell, I said to him. As soon as I said it, I felt bad for lying, and to be honest, he looked a little disappointed in me because I think we both knew in that moment it wasn't as simple as a fall. Then he pulled up the sleeve of his shirt and held out his arm. Stom- Ellen, my stomach dropped so. My. What? Sorry, I love adding words. Ellen, my stomach dropped. It was so bad. All over his arms, he had these small scars. Some of the scars looked like someone had stuck a cigarette to his arm and held it there. He twisted his arm around so I could see that it was on the other side, too. I used to fall a lot, too, Lily. Then he pulled his shirt sleeve down and didn't say anything else. For a second, I wanted to tell him it wasn't like that. My dad never hurts me, and he was just trying to get me off of him. But then I'd realize I'd be using the same excuses my mom uses. I felt a little embarrassed that he knows what goes on at my house. I spent the whole rest of the bus ride looking out the window because I didn't know what to say to him. When we got home, my mom's car was there, in the driveway, of course, not the garage. That meant Atlas couldn't come over and watch your show with me. I was gonna tell him I would bring him blankets later, but when he got off the bus, he didn't even tell me bye. He just started walking down the street like he was mad. It's dark now, and I'm waiting on my parents to go to sleep, but in a little while, I'm gonna take him some blankets. Lily. Okay, I have to run an ad, so I'm gonna go do that really quick. I will be right back. Everybody stay tight during the ad. Okay, I'm back now. The Atlas stuff is not as fun anymore suddenly. Anyway, dear Ellen, I'm in way over my head. Do you ever do things you know are wrong but are somehow also right? I don't know how to put it in simpler terms than that. I mean, I'm only 15. Uh-oh. And I certainly shouldn't have boys spending the night in my bedroom. But if a person knows someone needs this place to stay, isn't it that person's responsibility as a human to help them? Last night, after my parents went to sleep, I snuck out the back door to take Atlas those blankets. I took a flashlight with me because it was dark. It was still snowing really hard, so by the time I made it to that house, I was freezing. I beat on the back door, and as soon as he opened it, I pushed past him to get out of the cold. Only, I didn't get out of the cold. Somehow, it even felt colder inside that old house. I still had my flashlight, and I shined it around the living room and kitchen. There wasn't anything in there, Ellen. No couch, no chair, no mattress. I handed the blankets off to him and kept looking around. There was a big hole in the roof over the kitchen, and wind and snow were just pouring in. When I shined my light around the living room, I saw his stuff in one of the corners. His backpack plus the backpack I'd given him. There was a little pile of other stuff I'd given him, some of my dad's clothes. And then there were two towels on the floor. One I guess he laid on and one he covered up with. I put my hand over my mouth because I was so horrified. He'd been living there like that for weeks. Atlas put his hand on my back and tried to walk me back out the door. You shouldn't be here, Lily, he said. You could get in trouble. That's when I grabbed his hand and said, You shouldn't be here either. I started to pull him out the front door with me, but he yanked his hand back. That's when I said, You can sleep on my floor tonight. I'll keep my bedroom door locked. You can't sleep here, Atlas. It's too cold and you'll get pneumonia and die. He looked like he didn't know what to do. I'm sure the thought of being caught in my bedroom was just as scary as getting pneumonia and dying. He looked back at. That's so funny. He looked back at his spot in the living room and then he just nodded his head once and said, Okay. So you tell me, Ellen, was I wrong letting him sleep in my room last night? It doesn't feel wrong. It felt like the right thing to do. But I sure could get in a lot of trouble if we had been caught. He slept on the floor, so it's not like it was anything more than me just giving him somewhere warm to sleep. I did learn a little more about him last night. After I snuck him in the back door into my room, I locked my door and made a pallet for him on the floor next to my bed. I set the alarm for 6 a.m. and told him he'd have to get up and leave before my parents woke up, since sometimes my mom wakes me up in the mornings. I crawled in my bed and scooted over to the edge of it so I could look down at him while we talked for a little while. I asked him how long he thought he might stay here, and he said he didn't know. That's when I asked him how he ended up there. My lamp was still on, and we were whispering, but he got real quiet when I said that. He just stared up at me with hands behind his head for a moment. Then he said, I don't know my real dad. He never had anything to do with me. It's always just been me and my mom, but she got remarried about 5 years ago to a guy who never really liked me much. We fought a lot. When I turned 18 a few When I turned 18 a few months ago, we got in a big fight and he kicked me out of the house. He took a deep breath like he didn't want me to tell anymore. Like he didn't want to tell me anymore. But then he started talking again. I've been staying with a friend of mine and his family since then, but his dad got a transfer to Colorado and they moved. They couldn't take me with them, of course. His parents were just being nice by letting me stay with them, and I knew that. So I told them I talked to my mom and that I was moving back home. The day they left, I didn't have anywhere to go. So I went back home and told my mom I'd like to move back in until I graduated. She wouldn't let me, said it would upset my stepfather. He turned his head and looked at the wall. So I just wandered around for a few days until I saw that house. Figured I would just stay there until something better came along or until I graduated. I'm signed up to go to the Marines come May, so I'm just trying to hang on until then. May is 6 months away, Ellen. 6. I had tears in my eyes when he finished telling me all that. I asked him why he didn't just ask someone if they could help him. He said he tried, but it's harder for an adult than a kid, and he's already 18. He said someone gave him a number for some shelters who might help him. There were 3 shelters in a 20-mile radius of our town, but 2 of them were for battered women. The other one was a homeless shelter, but they've only got a few beds, and it was too far away for him to walk there if he wanted to go to school every day. Plus, you have to wait in a long line to try and get a bed. He said he tried it once, but he feels safer in that old house than he did at the shelter. Like the naive girl I am when it comes to situations like his, I said, but aren't there other options? Can't you just tell the school counselor what your mom did? He shook his head. He and said he's too old for foster care. He is 18, so his mother can't get in trouble for not allowing him to go back home. He said he called about getting food stamps last week, but he didn't have a ride or money to get his appointment. Not to mention he doesn't have a car, so he can't very well find a job. He said been looking though. After he leaves my house in the afternoons, he goes and applies at places, but he doesn't have an address or a phone number to put down on the application, so that makes it harder for him. I swear, Ellen, every question I threw at him, he had an answer for. It's like he's tried everything not to be stuck in the situation he's in, but there isn't enough help out there for people like him. I got so mad at his whole situation. I told him he was crazy for wanting to go into the military. I wasn't so much whispering when I said, "Why the heck would you want to serve a country that has allowed you to end up in this kind of situation?" Do you know what he said next, Ellen? His eyes grew sad, and he said, "It's not this country's fault my mother doesn't give a shit about me." Then he reached up and turned off my lamp. "Good night, Lily," he said. I didn't sleep much after that. I was too mad. I am not sure. I'm not even sure who I'm mad at. I just kept thinking about our country and the whole world and how screwed up it is that people don't do more for each other. I don't know when humans started only looking out for themselves. Maybe it's always been this way. It made me wonder how many people out there were just like Atlas. It made me, and notably, she hasn't changed her opinions on homeless people very much, because she fucking talked about having sex with a homeless guy like it was the worst thing she could have fucking done. So despite her thinking this and having all these opinions at 15, 23, different ballgame. It made me wonder if there were other kids at our school who might be homeless. I go to school every day and internally complain about it most of the time, but I've never once thought that school might be the only home some kids have. It's the only place Atlas can go and know he'll have food. I'll never be able to respect rich people now. Oh, really? That's interesting. Knowing how they willingly choose to spend their money on materialistic things like a giant blown up picture of you, rather than using it to help other people. No offense, Ellen. I know you're rich, but I guess I'm not referring to people like you. I've seen all the stuff you've done. No, I can't do it. Sorry. You're going to jail. Da, 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 da. I've seen all the stuff you've done for others on your show and all the charities you support, but I know there are a lot of rich people out there who are selfish. Hell, there are even selfish poor people and selfish middle class people. Look at my parents. We aren't rich, but we certainly aren't too poor to help other people. Yet I don't think my dad has ever done anything for a charity. I remember one time we were walking into a grocery store and an old man was ringing a bell for the Salvation Army. I asked my dad if we could give him some money and he told me no, that he works hard for his money and he wasn't about to let me give it away. He said it isn't his fault that other people don't want to work. He spent the whole time we were in the grocery store telling me about how people take advantage of the government, and until the government stops helping those people by giving them handouts, the problem won't ever go away. Ellen, I believed him. That was 3 years ago, and all this time I thought homeless people were homeless because they were lazy or drug addicts or just didn't want to work like other people. But now I know that's not true. Sure, some of what he said was true to an extent, but oh my god, but he was just using the worst case scenarios. Not everyone is homeless because they choose to be. They're homeless because there isn't enough help to go around. And people like my father are the problem. Instead of helping others, people use the worst case scenarios to excuse their own selfishness and greed. I'll never be like that. I swear to you, when I grow up, I'm going to do everything I can to help other people. I'll be like you, Ellen, just probably not as rich. Lily. What did I miss? Sounds like another good. This is so true. You did not miss anything good. We did do letters to Ellen again, of course. We tuned back into Atlas. So Atlas was abused by his own parents. Oh my god, yes. Texting font. Let's fucking go. So true. Anyway, um that was pretty much it. Alice, come back, let's go. Yeah, he was abused by his parents. His mom got married to his stepdad. His stepdad hated his ass. So as soon as he turned 18, he got kicked out of his house. And he was staying with his friend for a while, but then his friend moved and he couldn't move with his friend. So he lied to the friend and said that he asked his mom to come back and his mom let him, but his mom did not let him. He found the house. And so she was talking about homelessness for a while. It was very fucking funny. Okay, anyway, chapter 9. drop the journal on my chest. I'm surprised to feel tears running down my cheeks. Every time I pick up this journal, I think I'll be fine. That it all happened so long ago and I won't still feel what I felt back then. I'm such a sap. It gives me this longing to hug so many people from my past, especially my mother, because for the past year, I haven't really thought about everything she had to go through before my father died. I know it probably still hurts her. I grab my phone to call her and look at the screen. There are four texts from Ryle. My heart immediately skips. I can't believe I had it on silent. That journal entry made you cry. I mean, oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. It also discussed the first time she had been harmed by her father. She her mom came home early and parked in the garage. The dad got mad that the mom parked in the garage because that was his parking spot, and so he's honking at her. She comes out into the garage. Then the dad starts choking the mom out, and then Lily hears that happening and then freaks out and starts hitting him and starts trying to get him off of her mom, and then he hits her somehow and hits her head hard enough to have to go get stitches. And her mom asks her to say that she slipped and fell on the ice, as opposed to admitting that it was her father who had hurt her. And then she talked to Atlas about it, and Atlas revealed that he also got abused by his parents. Um, so that was why it made her cry. It was it made sense. I forgot to mention the abuse part. My bad. Okay. Can't believe I had it on silent. Then I roll my eyes, annoyed with myself because I should not be this excited. Are you asleep? I guess so. Lily. Sad face. The sad face was sent 10 minutes ago. I hit reply and type, nope, not asleep. About 10 seconds later, I get another text. Good. I'm walking up your stairs right now. Be there in 20 seconds. I grin and jump out of bed. I go in the bathroom and check my face. Good enough. I run to the front door and open it as soon as Ryle makes it up to the stairwell. He practically drags himself up the top step and then stops to rest when he finally reaches my door. Huh? What are you haunting? The Ryle thing? Like him arriving in 20 seconds? Kind of batshit, I agree. But like, if they're together, it's kind of like, okay, sure, drop by, I guess. Peter choice is crazy. Yeah. I would be charmed, unfortunately. Anyway. Dude didn't even know she was awake and was on the way. I would be charmed. If we were, okay, like, if we were together and chill with it, they're on a test run is what we're doing right now. So they're kind of together. They're like acting like it, and she asked him not to have sex with her, and he said, okay, I won't, and so they haven't had sex. So things seem okay for now. He practically drags himself up the top step, and then stops to rest when he finally reaches my door. He looks so tired. His eyes are red and there are dark circles under them. His arms slip around my waist and he pulls me to him, burying his face into my neck. You smell so good, he says. I pull him inside the apartment. Are you hungry? I can make you something to eat. He shakes his head as he wrestles out of his jacket, so I skip the kitchen and head for the bedroom. He follows me and then throws his jacket over the back of the chair. He kicks off his shoes and pushes them against the wall. He's wearing scrubs. You look exhausted, I say. He smiles and puts his hands on my hips. I am. I just assisted in an 18-hour surgery. He bends down and kisses the heart tattoo on my collarbone. No wonder he's exhausted. How is that even possible? I say. 18 hours? He nods and then walks me to the side of the bed where he pulls me down next to him. We adjust ourselves until we're facing each other, sharing a pillow. Yeah, but it was amazing. Groundbreaking. They'll write about it in medical journals, and I got to be there, so I'm not complaining. I'm just really tired. I lean in and give him a peck on the mouth. He brings his hand to the side of my head and pulls back. I know you're probably ready to have hot, sweaty sex, but I don't really have the energy tonight. I'm sorry. But I've missed you, and for some reason I sleep better when I sleep next to you. Is it okay that I'm here? That would work on me. Like, that's what I'm saying, is that shit would work on me. Because that's a sweet cute thing to say. It's not, I tracked you down after you told me what building you lived in 6 months ago. I sleep better when you're here. Cute. I know where you live. Not cute. Not good. Ugh. Okay, anyway. I smile. It's more than okay. He leans in and kisses my forehead. He grabs my hand and then holds it between us on the pillow. His eyes close, but I keep mine open and stare at him. He has the type of face that people shy away from because you could get lost in it. And to think I get to look at this face all the time. I don't have to be modest and look away because he's mine. Maybe. This is a trial run. I have to remember that. After a minute, he releases my hand and begins to flex his fingers. I look down at his hand and wonder what that must be like, to have to stand for so long and use your fine motor skills for 18 hours straight. I can't think of much else that would match that level of exhaustion. I slide out of the bed to retrieve some lotion out of my bathroom. I go to the bed and sit cross-legged next to him. I squirt some lotion on my hand and then pull his arm into my lap. He opens his eyes and looks up at me. What are you doing? He mumbles. Shh, go back to sleep, I say. I press my thumbs into the palm of his hand and rotate them upward and then out. His eyes fall shut and he groans into the pillow. I continue massaging his hand for about 5 minutes before switching to his other hand. He keeps his eyes closed the whole time. When I'm finished with his hands, I roll him onto his stomach and straddle his back. He assists me in pulling off his shirt, but his arms are like noodles. I massage his shoulders and his neck and his back and his arms. When I'm finished, I roll off of him and lie down beside him. I'm running my fingers through his hair and massaging his scalp when he opens his eyes. Lily, he whispers, looking at me sincerely, you just might be the best thing that's ever happened to me. Those words wrap around me like a warm blanket. I don't know what to say in response. He lifts a hand and gently cups my cheek, and I feel his stare deep in my stomach. Slowly, he leans forward and presses his lips to mine. I expect a peck, but he doesn't pull back. The tip of his tongue slides across my lips, parting them softly. His mouth is so warm, I moan as his kiss grows deeper. He rolls me onto my back, then drags his hand. Might have to stop. He rolls me onto my back, then drags his hand down my body straight to my hip. He moves me closer, sliding his hand down my thigh. He pushes against me and a surge of heat shoots inside me. I grab a fistful of his hair and whisper against his mouth. I think we've waited long enough. They fuck. Okay, great. I skimmed. They fuck. It went great. Okay, chapter 10. Can I ask you a personal question? Alyssa nods as she perfects a bouquet of flowers about to go out for delivery. We're 3 days away from our grand opening and it just keeps getting busier by the day. What is it? Alyssa asks, facing me. She No problem, guys. Happy to help. She leans into the counter and starts picking at her fingernails. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to, I warn. Well, I can't answer it if you don't ask it. That's a good point. Do you and Marshall donate to charity? Confusion crosses her face and she says, yeah, why? I shrug. I was just curious. I wouldn't judge you or anything. I've just been thinking lately about how I might like to start a charity. What kind of charity, she asks. We donate to a few different ones now that we have money, but my favorite one is the one we got involved with last year. They build schools in other counties. We funded 3 new constructions in the past year alone. I knew I liked her for a reason. I don't have that kind of money, obviously, but I'd like to do something. I just don't know what yet. Let's get through this grand opening first, and then you can start thinking about philanthropy. One dream at a time, Lily. She walks around the counter and grabs the trash can. I watch as she pulls the full bag out of it and ties it in a knot. It makes me wonder why, if she has people for everything, she would even want a job where she has to take out the trash and get her hands dirty. Why do you work here? I ask her. Oh my god, a guillotine? That's so fucking good. Huge. You're gonna need to bust that out quite often during this, I think. Side eye. Da, 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 da. She glances up at me and smiles. Because I like you, she says. But then I notice the smile completely leave her eyes right before she turns and walks toward the back to throw out the trash. When she comes back, I'm still watching her curiously. I say it again. Alyssa, why do you work here? She stops what she's doing and takes in a slow breath, like maybe she's contemplating being honest with me. She walks back to the counter and leans against it, crossing her feet at her ankles. Because, she says, looking down at her feet, I can't get pregnant. We've been trying for 2 years, but nothing has worked. I was tired of sitting at home crying all the time, so I decided I should find something to keep my mind busy. She stands up straight and this one will be one of these. Oh my god, so true. Because we're gonna have to kill him. New emote drop, yes! So true. Cause for celebration, really. Though, I do miss the Twilight prayer one. That one was pretty good. Or, right? That's what it, I don't remember it, actually, now that I'm saying it aloud. Never mind. She stands up straight and wipes her hands across her jeans. And you, Lily Bloom, are keeping me very busy. She turns and starts messing with the same bouquet of flowers again. She's been perfecting them for a half an hour. She picks up a card and stuffs it in the flowers, and then turns around and hands me the vase. These are for you, by the way. It's obvious Alyssa wants to change the subject, so I take the flowers from her. What do you mean? She rolls her eyes and waves me off to my office. It's on the card. Go read it. I can tell her by her annoyed reaction that they're from Ryle. I grin and run to my office. I take a seat at my desk and pull out the card. Lily, I'm having serious withdrawals. Ryle. I miss her too. The streamer let the emotes expire. Terrible. How could you? Literally a crime. Okay, anyway. I smile and put the card back in the envelope. I grab my phone and snap a picture of me holding the flowers with my tongue sticking out. I texted to Ryle. I tried to warn you. He immediately starts texting me back. I watch anxiously as the dots on my phone move back and forth. I need my next fix. I'll be there in about 30 minutes. Can I take you to dinner? Can't. Mom wants me to try a new restaurant with her tonight. She's an obnoxious foodie. I like food. I ate food. Where are you taking her? A place called Bibs on Marketson. Is there room for one more? No? We're doing a trial run. No, you can't meet my fucking mom. Are you insane? Are you batshit insane? I'm cringing. Are you dumb? Are you stupid? I've actually never been so appalled by someone's fucking behavior. Trial run. You want to meet my fucking mom? Get a grip. I stare at his text for a moment. He wants to meet my mother? We aren't even officially dating. I mean, I don't care if he meets my mother. She would love him. But he went from not wanting to do anything with relationships to possibly agreeing to test drive one to meeting the parents all within 5 days. Good God, I really am a drug. Sure, meet us there in half an hour. What? No? I walk out of my office and straight up to Alyssa. I hold my phone in front of her face. He wants to meet my mother. Who? Ryle. My brother? She says, looking as shocked as I feel. I nod. Your brother, my mother. She grabs my phone and looks at the texts. Huh, that's so weird. I take my phone from her hands. Thanks for the vote of confidence. She laughs and says, you know what I mean. It's Ryle we're talking about here. He has never, in the history of being Ryle Kincaid, met a girl's parents. Of course, hearing her say that makes me smile. But then I wonder if maybe he's doing this just to please me. If maybe he's doing things he doesn't really want to do just because he knows I want a relationship. And then I smile even bigger, because isn't that what it's all about? Sacrificing for the person you like so that you can see them happy? Your brother must really like me, I say teasingly. I look back up at Alyssa, expecting her to laugh, but there's a solemn look on her face. She nods and says, yeah, I'm afraid he does. She grabs her purse from beneath the counter and says, I'm gonna head out now. Let me know how it goes, okay? She moves past me and I watch her as she makes her way toward the door, and then I just stare at the door for a long time. It bothers me that she doesn't seem excited about the prospect of me dating Ryle. It makes me wonder if that has more to do with her feelings toward me or her feelings toward him. It's obviously her feelings towards him. We knew that. It was pretty obvious. 20 minutes later, I flip the sign to closed. Just a few more days. I lock the door and walk to my car, but stop short when I see someone leaning against it. It takes me a moment to recognize him. He's facing the other direction, talking on his cell phone. I thought he was meeting me at the restaurant, but okay. The the horn beeps on my car when I hit the unlock button, and Ryle spins around. He grins when he sees me. Yes, I agree, he says into the phone. He wraps an arm around my shoulder and pulls me against him, pressing a kiss to the top of my head. We'll talk tomorrow, he says. Something really important just came up. That would work on me as well. Dude, you're not meeting around. Very weird. He hangs up the phone and slides it into his pocket, and then he kisses me. It's not a hello kiss. It's an I've been thinking about you nonstop kiss. Okay, cute line. You're right. I agree. Pretty cute line. He's getting weirdly good suddenly. Like, once he was like, I'm so committed to you, he started being super cool and normal. So, me personally would have run away from all those insane red flags, but I'm glad he's being nice now, I guess. Whatever works for you. Okay. He wraps both arms around me and spins me until I'm backed up against my car, where he continues to kiss me until I start feeling dizzy again. When he pulls back, he's looking down at me appreciatively. You know which part of you drives me the craziest? He brings his fingers to my mouth and traces my smile. These, he says, your lips. I love how they're as red as your hair, and you don't even have to wear lipstick. I grin and kiss his fingers. I better watch you around my mom, then, because everyone says we have the same mouth. LMAO! She ruined that moment? That's hysterical. Happy for her! Yes! Ruin that moment, girl. He pauses his fingers against my lips and stops smiling. Lily, just no. Terrible dialogue. No one says that. I laugh and open my door. Are we taking separate cars? He pulls the door open for me the rest of the way and says, I took an Uber here from work. We'll ride together. Did you not drive to work? Okay. My mother is already seated at a table when we arrive. Her back is to the door as I lead the way. I'm instantly impressed by the restaurant. My eyes are drawn to the warm, neutral colors painted on the walls and the almost full-sized tree in the middle of the restaurant. It looks like it's growing straight out of the floor, almost as if the entire restaurant was designed around the tree. Ryle follows closely behind me with his hand on my lower back. Once we reach the table, I begin to pull off my jacket. Hey, Mom. She looks up from her phone and says, Oh, hey, honey. She drops her phone in her purse and waves her hand around the restaurant. I already love it. Look at the lighting, she says, pointing up. The fixtures look like something you'd grown in one of your gardens. That's when she notices Ryle, who is standing patiently next to me as I slide in the booth. My mother smiles at him and says, We'll take 2 orders for now, please. My eyes dart to Ryle and then back at my mother. Mom, he's with me. He's not the waiter. She looks up at Ryle again with confusion. You didn't warn her? You're taking your weird red flag written boyfriend, test run boyfriend, to dinner with your mom, and you didn't say, hey mom, can I bring my weird test run red flag boyfriend to dinner? You didn't get you didn't give her a warning? Oh boy. That's terrible. That's bad. She looks up at Ryle again with confusion. He just smiles and reaches out his hand. Honest mistake, ma'am. I'm Ryle Kincaid. She returns the handshake, looking back and forth between us. He releases her hand and slides into the booth. She looks a little flustered when she finally says, Jenny Bloom, nice to meet you. She places her attention back on me and raises an eyebrow. A friend of yours, Lily? I can't believe I'm not better prepared for this moment. Yeah, man. Maybe if you'd warned her. This is my red flag situationship, Ryle. He wanted to meet. Yeah. I can't even imagine. Like, if I'm gonna introduce my red flag situationship Ryle to my mother, god damn it, I'd at least warn her first. I wouldn't be happy to be doing it. I'd prefer it be a real relationship. Red flags, sure. But at least I'd hope it'd be a real relationship before I'd introduce anybody to my fucking mom. Huh? But whatever. That's whatever. I can't believe I'm not better prepared for this moment. What in the heck do I introduce him as? My trial run? I can't say boyfriend, but I can't say friend. Prospect seems a little dated. Ryle notices my pause, so he puts his hand on my knee and squeezes reassuringly. My sister works for Lily, he says. Have you met her, Alyssa? My mother leans forward in her booth and says, Oh, yes, of course. You two look so much alike now that you mention it, she says. It's in the eyes, I think, and the mouth. He nods. We both favor our mother. My mother smiles at me. People always say they think Lily favors me. Yes, he says, identical mouths. Uncanny. That's so funny. Good joke, buddy. Ryle squeezes my knee under the table again while I try to suppress my laughter. Ladies, if you'll excuse me, I need to head to the gentleman's room. You just got here, bro. But whatever. He leans in and kisses me on the side of the head before standing. If the waiter comes, I'll just take water. My mother's eyes follow Ryle as he walks away, and then she slowly turns back to me. She points at me and then to his empty seat. How come I haven't heard about this guy? I smiled a little. Things are kind of... It's not really... I don't know how to explain our situation to my mother. He works a lot, so we haven't really spent that much time together at all. This is actually the first time we've been to dinner together. My mother raises an eyebrow. Really? She says, leaning back in her seat. He sure doesn't treat it like that. I mean, he seems comfortably affectionate with you. Not normal with someone you've just met. We didn't just meet, I say. It's been almost a year since the first time I met him, and we've spent time together, just not on a date. He works a lot. Where does he work? Massachusetts General Hospital. My mother leans forward and her eyes practically bulge from her head. Lily, she hisses. He's a doctor? Because we just met. Girl, maybe don't tell him that. Now that she knows that he's a doctor, it doesn't even matter. I nod, suppressing my grin. A neurosurgeon. Can I get you ladies something to drink? A waiter asks. Yeah, I say, we'll take 3. And then I clamp my mouth shut. I stare at the waiter, and the waiter stares back at me. My heart is in my throat. I can't remember how to speak. What the fuck? Lily? My mother says. She flicks her hand toward the waiter. He's waiting for your drink order. I shake my head and begin to stutter. 3 waters, my mother says, interrupting my fumbled words. The waiter snaps out of his trance long enough to tap his pencil on his pad of paper. 3 waters, he says. Got it. He turns and walks away, but I watch as he glances back at me before pushing through. What the fuck happened there? I don't know. But I watch as he glances back at me before pushing through the doors to the kitchen. My mother leans forward and says, "What in the world is wrong with you?" I point over my shoulder. The waiter, I say, shaking my head. He looked exactly like... I'm about to say Atlas Corrigan when... Atlas? Is it... No, he just looked like Atlas. I wish the waiter was Atlas. Then it maybe would have been more interesting. When Ryle walks up and slides back into the seat. He glances back and forth between us. What I miss? I swallow hard, shaking my head. Surely that wasn't really Atlas. Oh my god, it might actually be Atlas. But those eyes. His mouth. I know it's been years since I saw him, but I'll never forget what he looked like. It had to be him. I know it was, and I know he recognized me too, because the second our eyes met, it looked like he'd seen a ghost. Let's fucking go! Yes! Okay, now we're getting interesting! Yes! Okay. Lily, Ryle says, squeezing my hand. You okay? I nod and force a slap. Alice Demeter, I don't know anything about him. Well, they had sex when he was 18 and she was 15. So he's definitely not perfect either. Okay. Anyway. I nod and force a smile, then clear my throat. Yep, we were just talking about you, I say, glancing back at my mother. Ryle assisted in an 18-hour surgery this week. My mother leans forward with interest. Ryle begins to tell her all about the surgery. And they reiterated it in like a couple chapters back that he's 18 and she's 15. They love to mention it. It's really cool. My mother leans forward with interest. Ryle begins to tell her all about the surgery. Our waiter arrives, but it's a different waiter this time. He asks if we've had a chance to go over the menu and then tells us the chef's specials. The 3 of us order our food, and I'm doing everything I can to focus, but my attention is all over the restaurant looking for Alice. I need to regroup. After a few minutes, I lean over to Ryle. I need to run to the restroom. He stands up to let me out, and my eyes are scanning the face of every waiter as I make my way across the room. I push through the door to the hallway that leads to the restroom. As soon as I'm alone, my back meets the wall of the hallway. I lean forward and release a huge breath. I decide to take a moment and regain my composure before heading back out there. I bring my hands up to my forehead and close my eyes. For 9 years, I've wondered what happened to him. Years. Lily? I glance up and suck in a breath. He's standing at the end of the hallway like a ghost straight out of the past. Yeah! Let's go. My eyes travel to his feet to make sure he's not suspended in the air. He isn't. He's real, and he's standing right in front of me. I stay pressed against the wall, not sure what to say to him. Atlas? As soon as I say his name, he blows out a quick breath of relief and then takes three huge steps forward. I catch myself doing the same. We meet in the middle and throw our arms around each other. Holy shit, he says, holding me in a tight embrace. I nod. Yeah, holy shit. He puts his hands on my shoulder and takes a step back to look at me. You haven't changed at all. I cover my mouth with my hand, still in shock, and give him the once over. His face looks the same, but he's no longer the scrawny teenager I remember. I can't say the same for you. He looks down at himself and laughs. Yeah, he says, 8 years in the military will do that to you. We're both in shock, so nothing is said right after that. We just keep shaking our heads in disbelief. He laughs, and then I laugh. Finally, he releases my shoulders and folds his arms over his chest. What brings you to Boston? He asks. He says it so casually, and I'm thankful for that. Maybe he doesn't remember our conversation all those years ago about Boston, which would save me a lot of embarrassment. I live here, I say, forcing my answer to sound as casual as his question. I own a flower shop over on Park Plaza. He smiles knowingly, like it doesn't surprise him at all. I glance toward the door, knowing I should get back out there. He notices and then takes another step back. He holds my gaze for a moment and then it gets really quiet. Way too quiet. There's so much to say, but neither of us even knows where to start. The smile leaves his eyes for a moment and then he motions towards the door. You should probably get back to your company, he says. I'll look you up sometime. You said Park Plaza, right? I nod. He nods. The door swings open and a woman walks in holding a toddler. She moves between us, which puts even more distance between us. You can't use the same word in one sentence. You gotta kill yourself. That's it. That's against the law. You can't do that. I take a step toward the door, but he remains in the same spot. Before I walk out, I turn back to him and smile. It was really good to see you, Atlas. He smiles a little, but it doesn't touch his eyes. Yeah, you too, Lily. I'm mostly quiet for the rest of the meal. I'm not sure Ryle or my mother even noticed, though, because she's having no issue firing question after question at him. He takes it like a champ. He's very charming with my mother in all the right ways. Unexpectedly running into Atlas tonight put such a wrinkle in my emotions, but by the end of dinner, Ryle smoothed them back out again. My mother takes her napkin and wipes her mouth, then points at me. New favorite restaurant, she says. Incredible. Ryle nods. I agree. I need to bring Alyssa here. She loves trying new restaurants. The food is really good, but the last thing I need is for either of these two to want to come back here. It was okay, I say. LMAO. He pays for our meals, of course, and then insists we walk my mother to her car. I can already tell she'll be calling me about him tonight, simply by the prideful look on her face. Once she's gone, Ryle walks me to my car. I requested an Uber so you wouldn't have to go out of your way to take me home. We have approximately, he looks down at his phone, 1.5 minutes to make out. I laugh. He wraps his arms around me and kisses my neck first. He better pay for your meal. I mean, he also paid for her mom's meal, which I feel like is extra nice. And not so, I don't know, I just kind of assumed we would all be paying for our meals separately. That's just kind of how I think. But you're right. Guy moment. Anyway. I laugh. He wraps his arms around me and kisses my neck first, and then my cheek. I would invite myself over, but I have an early surgery tomorrow, and I'm sure my patient would appreciate it if I didn't spend the majority of the night inside you. Huh? I don't think your patient gives a shit. I gotta be honest. Fuck workers' rights and men. So true. There you go. That's the spirit. I kiss him back, both disappointed and relieved he's not coming over. I have a grand opening in a few days. I should probably sleep too. When's your next day off? He says. Never. When's yours? Never. I shake my head. We're doomed. There's just too much drive and success between the two of us. That means the honeymoon phase will last until we're 80, he says. I'll come to your grand opening Friday, and then the four of us will go out and celebrate. A car pulls up beside us, and he wraps his hand in my hair. I didn't like that wording. It was pretty dog shit. He wraps his hand in my hair and kisses me goodbye. Your mother is wonderful, by the way. Thank you for letting me come to dinner. He backs away and climbs inside the car. I watch it as it pulls out of the parking lot. I have a really good feeling about that man. I didn't for a while. He's okay now, but by God, he was certainly weird at first. Uh, I smile and turn. We don't. Yeah. He this new nice behavior is kind of freaking me out, actually. So not too sure. Not too sure about it, honestly. Um, I smile and turn toward my car, but throw a hand up to my chest and gasp when I see him. Atlas is standing at the rear of my car. Sorry, wasn't trying to scare you. I blow out a breath. Well, you did. I lean against the car and Atlas stays where he is 3 feet away from me. He looks out at the street. So, who's the lucky guy? He's... My voice falters. This is all so weird. My chest is still constricted and my stomach is flipping, and I can't tell if it's leftover nerves from kissing Ryle or if it's the presence of Atlas. His name is Ryle. We met about a year ago. I instantly regret saying we met that long ago. It makes it sound like Ryle and I have been dating that long, and we aren't even officially dating. What about you? Married? Have a girlfriend? I'm not sure if I'm asking to extend the conversation he started or if I'm genuinely curious. I do, actually. Her name is Cassie. We've been together almost a year now. Heartburn. I think I have heartburn. A year? I place my hand on my chest and nod. That's good. You seem happy. Does he seem happy? I have no idea. Yeah, well, I'm really glad I got to see you, Lily. He turns around to walk away and then spins and faces me again, his hands shoved in his pockets. I will say, I kind of wish this could have happened a year ago. Oh, me too, Atlas. What a normal thing to say. What a nice, sweet thing to say. And you're not throwing patio furniture around everywhere. Me too, Atlas. Don't we all, Atlas? Don't we all? Um, I wince at his words, trying not to let them penetrate. He turns and walks back toward the restaurant. I fumble with my keys and hit the button to unlock the car. I slide in and pull the door shut, gripping the steering wheel. For no pictures being taken. No car on. She is going to die. Yes, if not by Ryle's hand, possibly Atlas's. I don't trust any man in this book. Honestly, no one's been very good so far. Me? If I were her, I'd be like, oh, I'm gay, actually. I'm gay now. After seeing my dad beat my mom, Devin abandoned me at the party, Ryo be weird for a year straight, and then Atlas kind of creepily show up at my car. How did you know what my car looked like? How did you know? How did you know what my car looked like? How did you know you were leaning on the trunk of my car? You had no idea. How did you find that out? Have you been watching me? Did you take this job because you knew my mom liked food and you'd be here to see me? Probably not all that, but like, how did he know it was her car? Don't fuck with me, man. There's no way he could have known. I fumble with my keys and hit the button to unlock the car. I slide in and pull the door shut, gripping the steering wheel. For whatever reason, a huge tear falls down my cheek. A huge, pathetic, what the hell is this wetness tear? That's gay. I didn't like that line. Only decent man is Ryle's sister's husband, and even then, and he's a doofus. And the only reason he's any good is because we haven't talked to him a lot. There's no way he can be bad when you simply don't speak to him. So funny, I'm a man hater, but he's truly a knight compared to Ryle. Did you know my mom liked food? Did you? But like, apparently she mentioned Boston to him. How the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't expect to feel this much hurt after seeing him, but it's good. This happened for a reason. My heart needed closure so I can give it to Ryle, but maybe I couldn't do that until this happened. This is good. Yes, I'm crying, but it'll feel better. This is just human nature, healing an old wound to prepare for a fresh new layer. That's all. Damn, so many good ones. Oh my god. How did you know my mom eats, Alice? How did you know? Oh, thank God. Okay, well, it's almost 10, so I can't really read any more of this, honestly. But this next chapter is gonna have this is gonna be where the heat's at. A fifth of the way there. That we are. That we are. I don't think. How many chapters did I get through? 6 or 5? Okay, I got through 5 because then this is the 6th one. Okay, so pretty good considering. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Maybe you're right. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 6. No, you're right. You're right. Because I got through 5, I got through 6, I got through 7, I got through 8, I got through 9, I got through 10. So it's 6. You're right. 6. We know how to count. Anyway, so it's 10. I gotta go. Not for any particular reason. I could keep going if I wanted to, but I shouldn't. Thank you everybody for hanging out with me during It Ends With Us. I was so fucking excited to read. I'm so glad we got through a good chunk of it. Atlas is here, so this is good. 1 more hour of work. I believe in you. You're gonna fucking clutch this. It'll be over before you know it. Hi Naj. I would have hid too if I were you. This was pretty shit. Hi Naj, but also bye Naj, yeah. Good luck with your final hour. Hope you're doing well, Naj. Hopefully I'll catch you next time. Spring break is over, so I have class until 6, and then I drive home for about a half an hour, and then, I need to eat dinner and stuff, so, I'm gonna stream at 8. It'll say that on the schedule. I just want to clarify that spring break is over now. I can't stream, until that class is over at 7 on Mondays. So, Papa's Pizzeria will get an hour less in comparison to all the rest of the games. Not a huge deal. It's fucking Papa's Pizzeria. Okay? I get kind of sick of that game quicker than other games because it's so repetitive. So, I think an hour less never killed anybody. So, I will see everybody tomorrow with the schedule Monday for Papa's Pizzeria. Godspeed out there. I love you.